And we are live.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome to another episode of PM in the PM. And of course, I've got us playing in the background right now in my ears as well. So that's great. So let's get rid of that real quick. There we go. All right. That's much better now. This is what happens when you come sliding into home base late, man. This is what happens. But welcome, everybody. Listen, real quick, everybody. This is going to be the start of a brand new campaign, a Pong campaign or a Pong crusade in 2024. And you're going to hear about it here first. Completely non-video game related. So listen up, y'all. And this is a PSA for everybody out there. You may be somebody that I'm speaking to directly right now. Please take no offense whatsoever outside of the fact that I am giving you some very life-saving advice right here at this point. So, y'all, I drive on average an hour and a half to 2 hours per day. I'm in the car. Okay. And that's in the morning and in the evening. Right. And I'm sure most of you here have probably heard the fun sayings like sun's out, guns out, or sun's out, buns out, depending on who you are. I'm starting a new one in 2024, everybody. Sun's out, shades on. You guys all know that I am not for government regulation. I'm the opposite. We should have the least amount of government regulation ever. But if you're going to tell me that I personally have to put on a seatbelt and my passengers have to put on a seatbelt as adults, they can't decide for themselves whether or not they want a seatbelt. If you are going to tell me that people should not text and drive because that's distracted driving, let me tell y'all, if you drive and the sun's out, there should be a mandate, and the fine should be as steep as not wearing your seatbelt that you have to have sunglasses on. All right? Period, point blank. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. Those little visors they put in your cars and trucks don't do shit for you. And you all as adults who are able to drive a vehicle and you take, your life and the lives of those on the road every day that you get behind the wheel into consideration. If the sun's out, put your fucking sunglasses on. If you don't own a pair of sunglasses, go buy some cheap ones. All right? If you don't like how they look, don't care. Don't wear them outside of your car. Listen, Oakley, Ray-Ban, Persol, Louis Vuitton, Dior, all you people who make sunglasses, pool all your money together, okay? Take advantage of this corrupt political system that we have, and I want you all to start buying some lobbyist groups because I want this on the ballot in every state and at the federal level in the coming years. When I'm driving for an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, and there's some erratic driver, or there's somebody that's going 10 miles below the speed limit, or there's somebody that has 20 car lengths between them and the next vehicle and still insist upon braking every other second, there is a 60 to 70% chance when I pull past them and it's sunny out, they're not wearing their sunglasses. So again, the new motto for 2024, everybody, sun's out, shades on. Period, point blank. I've gotten into a situation where I couldn't find my sunglasses and I was getting in the car to go drive. You know what I did? Stole a pair of the wife's sunglasses.
Oh, I thought you went into a store and stole some.
No. Stole a pair of the wife's sunglasses. Totally girly sunglasses. Wore them. Because that's how important
unisex,
it is.
Man. Unisex.
Bro, the sun creates distracted driving and it's 1,000 times worse if you're not wearing your sunglasses. I don't care how good you think you are in the sun. I don't care how great you are. You say it doesn't blind me. It doesn't affect me. Bullshit. It does too. So again, sun's out, shades on. 2024. That is my new crusade that I'm running. And again, these companies that make sunglasses, you should all be on board. This should be a requirement. This should be law.
This should be like the one company that owns like all of the sunglasses brands or whatever. Like there's one company that owns all of them, the high overpriced ones. They should be lobbyists, like you said. Yeah.
Buy into the lobbyist groups, man.
Yeah. And then get it approved, and then it's be a racket. It'll be like everything else.
It I don't care. I don't care anymore at this point. I don't care. I've been dealing with these freaking fools on the road for so damn long.
Man, I live in
Sorry.
Texas, and I don't know, man. Like I have sunglasses in my car when the sun's in front of me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'll
no, I
grab
don't
them and
care.
put them on. But if it's
I
just
don't care, man.
daytime, I don't wear
Don't care.
sunglasses.
Don't care. Don't care. This is one of those situations where the idiots have made it bad for everybody. So everybody gets punished here. Everybody should have a pair of sunglasses and wear them. And the old people that I drive by that have your fucking sunglasses on your head and you're not even wearing them, and yet you're still driving stupidly while you're up like this so your visor gets that little shade over your eyes. You guys shouldn't even have your licenses anymore. All right. Mandatory testing. That's another crusade I started long ago. Mandatory testing after the age of 60. Mandatory testing yearly.
60. Yeah.
No, after 60. I'm not even joking. If you can't do the speed limit, if you can't change lanes properly, if the freeway scares you, you don't get a fucking license. Public transportation would love me as well. So let's get this show on the road, shall we?
I take it you
Sun's
didn't
out,
have a good
shades out.
trip home.
Fuck, bro. Telling you, man. wide open freeway for miles ahead. And I got people doing 20 under, and they're all up like this in their visor because they can't see. Get the fuck out of here, man. Oh. Anyways, all right. All right, my crusade has started, everybody. You'll be hearing this on more shows. It will be added to my outro. So again, sun's out, shades on. Will be the new thing. You possibly we need to send it to all the sunglass companies so they can get all on board with my lobbyist position here. Again, this is one of the few times you will hear me say that the government should mandate anything and put more laws in place. Anyways. Everybody, welcome to PM and the PM Pong and Mav and the PM. We got a great episode. We've actually got the news has slowed down to a trickle. Of course, we got the community BS we could talk about, but that shit's boring at this point. Just a bunch of negative Nancy's out here, doom and gloomers. But we actually did get the news today.
About that a little bit on the stream the other day.
I heard your Mavcast a little bit. I was lurking for a bit there, and I was listening to you. So yeah, we'll touch on it. But we did get some news today. We got some positive news. Hellblade 2 looking to set the bar as we've been talking about for a long time. Obviously, that's the main thumbnail. And again, Caitlin, chef's kiss. That thumbnail's beautiful, my dear. Absolutely beautiful. But we're going to talk about that. We'll probably get into a couple other topics as well. But thank you for joining us. But let me get to my co-host here. I don't know if he's got any campaigns or crusades that he's currently on. Well, he kind of already is with the community, but I don't know if he's got any other ones, but the one and only, the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network, the man who joins me every Thursday night and gives up the captain's chair to me, one of my brothers from another, Fun Speculation, a.k.a. Mav. How the hell has your week been, brother?
It's been great, motherfucker. What's up? How's it going? How are you doing, Pong? This has been a great week so far. Work's been great. Got lots of stuff going on. Spent 3 hours at a worthless meeting yesterday. That was fun. Just sitting there. I listen to the same stuff that you do at every meeting, but it's camaraderie. It's what it's all about, right? So, just overall having a good times, hanging out with the fam and playing games when I can and working. But there's a lot of cool stuff actually. I was excited today though because there's not like major news still,
Right.
Man, it's been a drag trying to find stuff to talk about the last 2 months, I feel like. And today there's like a bunch of little fun things, and I love that shit. So, and it's things that we both care about, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a fun show because we finally have some fun things to speculate on, right? And that's what this channel is all about, is about the fun speculation. So I am actually extremely pumped for this show. I am going to make sure that I wear my sunglasses every time it's light outside, no matter if it's like getting close to dark or if it's like, the sun's off behind me, no matter what. No matter
Yeah.
what. Now, I
Okay.
will make sure I have some badass blackout shades on, dude, and I'll get a bumper sticker also that just says "Wear your sunglasses," just for you. I don't have
Thank you, sir.
a crusade like that.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but I would just, if I was to send a message to drivers, because it's, I
Yeah.
want to keep it on driving.
Sure. Sure.
The people that live in my city, in my town, especially, right? Just have some patience.
Mm,
You know, you don't have to like weave in and out of traffic like a madman when you're on a road that has like a stoplight every block.
yep.
Just
Yep.
saying.
Okay.
You don't have to honk if somebody takes a half a second to move when there's a green light.
Mm,
Finally go green.
okay.
Just
Okay.
just keep calm. Keep calm.
Yeah.
But if you're not wearing your sunglasses, you deserve to get honked at. Okay? Just for the aggressive people around me. Like this town specifically. Anyway.
Love it, brother.
How's it going, Pong?
It's going great. Attention, ladies and gentlemen, aboard the fun speculation hype train. We have a few announcements to make quickly before I go ahead and get into what I've been doing. Modus Esprit, that's right, came in here and he gifted one membership. That's right, bought one ticket for one lucky person. Again, we don't discriminate around here. So he got on the floor and gave us a little easy single shot. That's right, a single shot is welcome, Lotus Esprit. Thank you so much. And even though it wasn't necessarily the biggest bag of coal, we got up to Mach 2.25 with that one. That's right, Lotus Esprit got us to Mach 2.25 to kick off the show. And then, of course, seeing that, the one and only Micah Ford said, well, guess what? I saw that single person get on and they looked a little lonely. So I'm going to add 2 cars to this hype train. That's right. Micah Ford came overhead, got on the court with the easy 10 dunk. That's right. Flushed it through the net, dropped off a couple of bags of coal, and got us up to a nice Mach 3.0 to start the show with a 10 bomb. That's right. 2 more cars. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. The hype train's rolling, keeping it ad-free in 2024 around here. And your goal for the month of April, which is just early, is a nice round, easy, well, it's not round, but 7,777, because 7's my favorite number. So let's go, y'all. Big goals for big people in our chat. Let's do this in April, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Let's see. What have I been doing, Mav? Lots of work and lots of Dragon's Dogma 2. That is to not be shocking. I've continued to put out my posts when I can with some screenshots. Dragon's Dogma 2 is game of the year 2024 for me. Easy, hands down. I can't stop playing it. I can't stop exploring. I am now 70 hours plus in. A lot of that in photo mode, obviously. But I am 70 plus hours in, got my magic archer, and I am just having a blast. I'm not looking to play different classes. I know some people out there are trying all the different classes. I'm not like that. RPGs, I am one of those dudes who sticks with the class that I pretty much chose, unless you let me mix classes, which again, here I started as archer, got my magic archer class. I'm not planning on banning that class at all. Having an absolute blast. My main pawn of Reese, she is just getting more and more powerful as a fighter. I've got her geared up now. Just absolutely loving exploring this world nonstop. There is so much to find. I am finding things that I'm not supposed to be finding because they're parts of missions, but because I go into every little nook and cranny and I go into every little cave and I explore the hell out of them, I'm finding all this stuff. I'm like, yo, what's this? I found this one thing the other night and I was like, why can't this has got to be something. Like, there's no way this is just here for looks. So I looked it up online. Sure enough, it's a quest. I got to do a bunch of more quest lines before I get that quest. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I cleared all this shit out. So now I know what to do when I get to that quest. But yeah, man, what a special world.
Yeah.
What a special game.
Where is it
Right.
ranking for you compared to like Starfield right now? Because like
Um,
Dragon's Dogma 2 is like special game, and I know it's right up your alley too. You know, like the way you talk about it, it's kind of like the way you talk about Starfield too, right? So that's why I'm kind of thinking
yes,
like, you know, Ambition was reached. Another one that you love is Cyberpunk, right?
yep, yep.
So like, do you think it's
It's in my
getting up
great
there?
times. Yeah, I said it a week and a half ago or so that it screw just game of the year 2024. This is moving up in my greatest all time list.
Yeah,
This is probably at this point. Again, these lists are so hard because of all
yeah,
the different genres and because of how much I play and I have played through the years. But I got to say, this is easily already in my top 20 all time that would be there consistently. And it may even be higher than that consistently. I have to go through the list and look back at some of the
yeah,
all time games to see kind of where I'd put it. But RPG wise, this is top 10 probably all time already.
yeah.
Easy. There's not too many that are going to beat this. Your Skyrims, your Oblivions, your Starfields, your Cyberpunks,
Mass
those are
Effect.
all ahead of it. Mass Effect's going to be ahead of it. And then, Knights of the Old Republic, obviously still going to be ahead of it. So I'd have to go through my list, but I think it's probably top 10, top 15, easy for me right now of greatest RPGs. This is, there are very few. And again, I brute forcing PC. I'm
Yeah.
playing it at 60 frames. I'm playing it looking gorgeous. I've only had one crash in the 70 hours, and it just happened to me the other night. It's the first time this game has crashed, so I know I'm having a different experience. But just in terms of gameplay, in terms of exploration, in terms of sitting around smiling the entire time while I'm doing whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, this is up there, man. This is definitely up there. Capcom has nailed this completely. And as this game gets fixed, as it gets modded, as they add more, which again, they did a whole survey a week ago for Dragon's Dogma specifically, Dragon's Dogma 2 specifically. I believe they're going to add DLC. They can add lands. They can add monsters. They can add loot. They can add so much to this game. I think this game, again, is going to be one of those games a decade from now that people are still playing, like your Fallouts, like your Oblivions, like your Skyrims, that people are still, you're going to be able to go on Steam and see 3,000, 5,000 people still actively playing Dragon's Dogma 2. That's the type of game I think this is. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at with it.
Right on, man.
Freaking amazing. Yep.
It is an amazing game.
It is an amazing game. Again, it's not perfect. No, very few games ever come close to even perfection. But it is just special in the way that it delivers the experience overall. There's not games like, it's unique. It's just unique to that experience with how they pull it off. And again, that's the Eastern perspective on a Western RPG that I've talked about plenty in the lead up to launch. So, yeah, Mev, just enjoying the hell out of that game, man. And there's a lot of coming out. There's a lot more stuff to be played. Star Wars Outlaws is looking ridiculously good. Somebody posted another clip without all the commentary behind it of just the pure gameplay. And every time I see, I just, again, outside of Nyx, the stupid little creature that they have to Disneyfy with you at all times. I hate that shit. Like, I hate it. Outside of him, the entire game just feels like old school Star Wars. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Obviously, Black Myth Wukong, if it is not a Souls-like, if it is more action adventure as they claim it is, now we'll see. But if it is, that's going to be right up my alley too. There's a lot of great games coming out this year. Avowed, obviously, Hellblade 2, which we're going to talk about tonight. But man, Dragon's Dogma 2 just set itself apart already. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to beat it.
Right on, man.
Yeah, Depka, D-Day 2 is pure crack. Can't put it down. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it, man. I just fire it up every night. Gotta hop into it. Let's get in. I don't think we have any super chats to catch up on. Let's get into the chat. Let's give the chat a shout out. All these freaking amazing people joining us on another Thursday night. We've got people like the Union of Grandeur is in that. The Union, wait,
Delusions of grandeur.
Delusions. I just was seeing that. Delusions of grandeur. What's going on, Delusions? I'm hoping Wukong is Souls like, hey, for all you Souls fans, that's great. I'm just not the Souls fans. You guys have gotten a lot of games, like a lot of games.
Yeah, so
I'm not saying you guys don't deserve more. And if they choose to make it that way, I support it. I'm not going to hate on the game if it is that way. It's just not going to be a game for me at that point. Won't be in my game of the year consideration because I won't play it if it goes too Souls-like. If it's like Stellar Blade and there seems to be difficulty levels and that kind of stuff, and there's some forgiveness in there, I will definitely still be enjoying it. But if it's pure Souls-like, I'm not going to be enjoying it. But if it happens, I will be happy for you Souls players, and that you guys get another one. Okay, I really will. There's plenty for me to play. If I miss out on Black Myth Wukong, I'll be okay. Who else we got here? We got Isaac Hayes 85 in here, says I agree, Pong. Yeah, there's a lot of us out here that just can't do Souls. But anyways, Talos Ray, what's going on? We got Wilfrey Rosario in the house, said I'm addicted to Dragon's Dogma 2, got the archery mastery. That's how you do it, Wilfrey. Archers rise up. We got the Steel Rain. What's going on? Steel's in here selling subs. If you guys need subs, he's got links for your channel. Don't worry about it. 31 bucks and he'll get you a couple hundred subs. No, we don't do that here. We don't promote that, but Steel's going to promote it in the chat as a joke. So anyways, shout out to you, brother. Great to see you, man. Can't wait to talk to you on Saturday. We got the Aces 352 in the house. What's going on? We got the Magnum in here. What's going on, Magnum? Souls games are the beat. I'm assuming you meant the best. Hey, Magnum, again, shout out to you Souls fans. You guys do something that I can't do, so I appreciate all of you. Again, I'm not a hater like that. Just we've gotten a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie. That and horror games have gotten a lot of love lately. Two genres I just don't do. We got Why So Serious in here. What's going on? Why So Serious? Great to see you. Who else? We got the Decado, of course, brother. What's going on? Always great to have you part of the show. Thank you for being in here. We've got Scorpio in the house as well. Who else? We got the Thatch in here. What's going on, Thatch? Let's see. We got the General Spartan 27 in the house. What's going on, General? We got the Void Rat in here. What's going on? Void Rat says every game is an effing Souls like these days. I know, and that descriptor is starting to be overused as well. Which again, like roguelike, became overused when roguelites were all the hotness. It's one of those things. I wish we had better ways to describe those kinds of games. Let's just say more difficult combat games. I don't want to learn parry and dodge all the damn time. Anyways, who else we got in here? We got the Big Mad Mo in the house. What's going on, Big Mad Mo? Always great to see you joining the show, brother. Appreciate you. We got the Nathan Hardman in here. What's going on, Nathan? We got Snooky Jackson in here. What's going on, Snooky? We got BT Maverick 707 in the house. What's going on, BT? We got the one and only Double Barrel Gaming himself, Mr. Boomstick the Man, is joining us tonight. What's going on, Boom? Great to see you, brother. Who else? We got the Micah Ford in here, of course. We got Xena in the house. What's going on, Xena? Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. We got It's Timmy. It's Timmy's in here. What's going on? It's Timmy. Who else is in here joining us? Yeah, you guys are talking up. We got Acute Perspective in the house. What's going on, Acute? And of course, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the one who swings the biggest stick in the chat. He is not afraid to ban your ass if you're naughty. That's right, the one and only boss, Mod Lethal Papa, who just bought himself and built himself one hell of a rig. Joining the PC Master Race Nation, as more and more people I see on X are doing legitimately, not the people who just claim they already have one, but the people actually building one. So congrats to you, Boss Mod. I've seen you enjoying it and noticing the differences as well. Grim Tango XL, thank you for joining us. We got the one and only Nate Dogg. What's going on, Nate Dogg? Great to see you, brother. We got Mash in the house. I do think they should offer even more. I do think they should offer even maybe a 1080 upscaled 60 frames mode, though. I think that should be a standard games. You have your 60 frames performance mode and then your graphics fidelity resolution mode. You know what? It's been a long time, Mav, since we've had a discussion at 30 frames.
Gonna have one today.
We're gonna have one today. But Mash, Mav and I are on your side. 2 options. That's all we've ever asked for, but we'll get into it. Who else is in here? Amit Kumar is in the house. Always great to see you, Amit. Thank you for joining us. We got the Jeremy Brown in here. What's going on, Jeremy Brown? Great to see you. We got the Sin in here. What's going on, Sin? Great to see you. Sin says, I got a better one, Pong. If you're changing lanes without putting on your turn signal while going the speed of light, you need your license ripped straight out of your pocket. Well, if you're going the speed of light and you do get caught, generally speaking, that does result in a revocation, depending on how fast you are going. But in my speed racer days, I definitely did use the blinker when I was making those lane changes for sure.
Yeah.
But so I do agree with you. Although I was a speed racer, so I'm not going to say I am not innocent. I was one of those guys out there doing it, or gals nowadays. I've seen lots of gals racing too. Jason Max is in the house. What's going on, Jason Max? Great to see you. We got Abdel 114 in here. What's going on, Abdel? Great to see you, brother, as always. Who else? We got the Brett Bingham in the house. What's going on, Brett? And of course, we've got the beautiful Miss Caitlin joining us again. The thumbnail, absolutely amazing. And thank you for sharing it out, Caitlin, ahead of time. Appreciate you. Ozzy Fan 80. What's going on, Ozzy? We got the Doom Reaper in the house. What's going on, Doom? Great to see you. He says, stop watching TV on your phones too, buttheads. Yeah, I know. There's people that do lots of things in their cars that they shouldn't do. Samuel Page, what's going on? We got the Z Black Rider in the house. What's going on, Z Black? We got the Green Goblin in here. He says, I wear sunglasses playing Forza. That's the way to do it. That's practice. That's practice for all you people. Just wear your sunglasses. Get that HDR turned up all the way. Put your sunglasses on and practice like you're real driving.
And sometimes in Forza, you feel like you need them.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
You see what the sun does, especially in those nice late evenings when it's setting and it's coming down. Oh, yeah.
It's that ray traced sun, man. It'll kill you.
It is, man. It's starting to become really realistic. Yeah. We got the who else we got in here? Who else? Grim Tango XL. What is going on? Great to see you. He says, what the fuck did I walk into here? You walked into a crusade earlier on, my friend. A new campaign for 2024. It's called Suns Out, Shades On. That's right. That's the new campaign for myself. All right. Who else we got in here? Isaac Hayes 85. I think I already got you, but welcome again. We got the Mass Hole 1977. What's going on? We got the one and only Bold Alpha Wolfpack joining us as always too. Great to see you, Bold Alpha. Thank you for being a part of the show. Who else? Did I miss anybody else in here? I'm scrolling. Astro Frost is in here. Noctis, what's going on? Great to see you. Thank you for joining the show tonight. We got Alvin, of course, joining us. Sorry, my voice is a little crackly. We got the allergies going on, change of seasons. What's going on, Alvin? Great to see you, brother. Thank you for being a part of the show as always. And I think that's as far as I can go up. Let's see who I missed down at the bottom. We got so many people in here tonight. We got CBH for God. What is going on? We got the one and only Jigga J in the house. What's going on, Jigga? Thank you so much for joining us. We got the Herd Theorem in the house. What's going on? Great to have you a part of the show. Manscaped while listening to y'all in Vegas last week and came back with more money than I went in with. Manscaping plus PM in the PM equals profit. Woo!
Makes sense.
Manscaped, come on back on board. We got people saying they're making money. Well, Manscaping, come on back. We'll take you again. We'll start advertising you again. Shout out to you, Herd there. I'm glad you had a nice time in Vegas and a winning time in Vegas on top of it. A rare feat indeed. Web Dave is in the house. What's going on, Web Dave? Great to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. Everybody go check out Web Dave and what he's got going on. And we got Freddie Fox in here. What's going on, Freddie? We got Jax82 in the house. Great to see you, Jax. We got Jay's World 2021. What's going on, Jay's World? We got Calorie. What's going on, Calorie? Great to see you, brother. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. We got the one and only Andrew Cullinane in the house. What's going on, Andrew? We got the Blind Mephisto joining us as well. I see y'all in here. I think I'm caught up. So attention, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. All you riders aboard the Fun Speculation Hype Train, please be aware of the signs above you. If you were not paying attention, please now immediately look at those signs to learn how to fasten your 4-point harnesses correctly. Because at this moment in time, the one and only MASH came through and added 2 more cars. He dropped off a bag of coal. So guess what that means? We're up to Mach 4.0 on a Thursday night. That means we can't have you flying out those windows. You gotta buckle up. So please look above your heads at those monitors and follow the directions to make sure you are buckled in correctly. Mach 4.0, everybody, because MASH came on the court with an easy 10 dunk. That's right, he windmilled that sucker on through, dropping off those bags of coal. The furnaces are burning hot on a Thursday night. That's right, everybody. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Choo-choo. Welcome aboard, all you new fun speculators. The hype train's rolling to a town near you. Appreciate that, MASH. Thank you for coming in. And don't forget, he thought I was going to forget, your goal is still 7,700. I'll give you a little extra credit, 50. 7,750 for the month of April. Keep this show ad-free to keep this channel rolling like it is. Hashtag no beans. No selling coffee around here. All right, let's get going here.
I want to sell coffee.
You can't, because I've made it a thing. So you're going to have to find something else, like lubricant or something. I don't know.
Sell lube?
Something like that. Yeah, sell lube or animal crackers or some shit.
I'd sell animal crackers. That would be a good one.
There you go. All right.
Think we could do Xbox logo animal crackers? You think we get in trouble for that?
Probably not.
I mean, people are giving
on to do a promotion
away Xbox like coins, you know.
Here we go. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you just did take those directions on the monitor seriously and you are already buckled in. But if you haven't, now is the time. Attention, ladies and gentlemen, aboard the Fun Speculation Hype Train. We are now cruising along at a Mach 4.5. That's right, a Mach 4.5, thanks to the one and only Dogma, who flew overhead. If you missed him, that's because he was hypersonic and he dropped off a couple bags of gold. We got the ferns burning a little bit hotter. We added a couple more cars. We added 10 more people to the amazing Fun Speculation Hype Train. The speculators are getting full in 2024. That's right, he got on the court with the easy 10 dunk Tacado. Choo-choo, motherfucker. Choo-choo. Thank you very much, sir, for doing that. And your goal is now 7,730 for April. Let's go. Ad-free 2024. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. All right.
Now, I have a problem, Pong.
What do you have?
I don't know where my fucking sweet tarts are, man. I thought I had them here.
Is it gonna throw you off for the rest of the night?
I was looking around on my desk. I thought I had my sweet tarts right here, and I fucking don't see them. I was gonna get some candy. We're okay. I think we're okay.
Are you gonna freak out?
No, I'll be all right.
Do you need to go off camera for a minute? Collect yourself?
No, I'm okay. I'll be all right.
If anybody can send an emergency packet of sweet tarts to Mav real quick.
I
during the show.
Swore I had them here.
Greatly appreciated. Matthew Gale, Poison Maniac. I see you jumping in here. We are just about to get into the topics. We are just about 40 minutes into the show. Just got done shouting out the chat, everybody. So we're going to jump into these topics while Mav tries to search for his sweet tarts. If he seems a little off tonight, if he looks like he's going to faint, if he starts sweating or starts itching, do not worry. That is just sugar withdrawals for Mav. I'm sure Caitlin will probably whip him up something real quick, and he will probably start eating during the show just to avoid that. But we are going to get into some topics here, Mav. We'll save the Hellblade 2 here a little bit. Let's talk about some of the smaller stuff today, Mav.
Yeah.
And this week. Let's start with one near and dear to both of our hearts. In fact, this game started PM in the PM in all reality. We had a 2-hour podcast together, me and Mav, on one game. And this happened, about 2 years ago now, Mav? Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Something like that.
Something like that. 2 years ago. That game, of course, is Splinter Cell. A game that is very dear to both me and Mav, a game that skipped an entire generation. Sam Fisher has been bastardized by Ubisoft. They have tried to put him into their other games as skins or as surprise DLC characters, but just would never make another Splinter Cell game. And of course, the stealth espionage games are few and far between. Sure, we have games that do stealth and that kind of stuff, but games that are specifically set up like Splinter Cell just really aren't made anymore. And Mav and I miss those games, and we missed Sam, and we missed Splinter Cell. We had a 2-hour show in which we speculated on how they could bring the franchise back. And this was before they ever announced the remake, which happened about, God, man, that was not last year, was it? It was
I fucking don't even
year
remember.
and a half
The
ago.
last
I have to
3
look it
years
up.
are a blur. I think they announced
I know.
it over a year ago.
Yeah, I think it was about a year and a half ago. Splinter
Yeah.
Cell
And we probably had
Remake
this talk about 2 years ago.
blog. Let's see here real quick. Let's see when this was done. This is the Ubisoft blog, if it'll pull it up. Yes, ma'am. December 2021. So almost spot on.
Damn, this is longer ago than I thought, actually. That's like
yeah,
yeah.
that's 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
So when they
when it
so we
announced
must have
it?
done our show like 3 years ago. Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where's-
wow. Wow is right, man. Where's time go? Holy
shit.
cow. Yeah. So anyway, so we did that full show. And we've been waiting ever since then. Because again, in classic Ubisoft fashion, one of their biggest franchises in history that has been gone for an entire generation. They decide to do a remake. You would think there'd be some fanfare. Think that they might announce it on a stage, showcase, have some kind of teaser. We talked about that so many times, what we do to tease it. Goggles, night vision goggles. Pew. You'll with the noise popping on screen, just a quick splash screen. Nah, classic Yves fashion. Let's just put out a blog post. Splinter Cell's worth a blog post. So they put out this blog post December 2021 announcing a remake, and honestly, it was a self interview. They had somebody within Ubisoft interview the developers, or they just had the developers themselves write up the questions and then write out the answers. One of the two, but it was beautiful. Mav and I broke down this entire blog post because every answer was exactly what Mav and I wanted to hear. They are looking at the classic games. They want to bring back that feel. They're modeling the remake after the classic games. Like every answer was spot on with how they were going to do this. But then it went deathly quiet, and we have heard nothing since then. And a little rumor popped up, Mav, that Splinter Cell could be finally making its way to the Ubisoft Forward event, which was announced this week. And that is happening on June the 10th. So mark your calendars. That's when the Ubisoft is doing their showcase. Generally speaking, Xbox's showcase is the day prior to Ubisoft's, and this kind of lines up on the 9th, right, Mav? I didn't look at the exact days, but I think it does. I think Psycho did look at the days, and it does line up. Yeah, June 9th is a Sunday, and the 10th is a Monday, which is standard for Ubisoft. So we could probably predict that the Xbox showcase will be the 9th. But, Mav, the Ubisoft Forward, the dev kind of came out and teased it a little bit, maybe on Twitter, X formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
People are reading into it, of course. Fans like me and Mav, who have been waiting for this moment for a very long time and want just to see something, might be wishing a little hard here. Pause. But I think at the end of the day, it makes sense. They announced the remake December 2021. It's now been 2.5 years once we get to June since that announcement. That's about the time you really teased it. I think it's got to be ready, especially if this is not going to be some big, massive game. If they're going to keep it like they said they were going to, close to the originals, they want to bring that feel. I think they might be ready to show something. So, Matt, for you, brother, hearing the rumors, hearing, the swell start. And again, we've done this before. We thought they were going to show this at the Xbox Showcase. We predicted this nearly every year that they were going to finally show up at the Xbox Showcase and announce it as an Xbox exclusive, because that's what it was on the OG Xbox. We got Splinter Cell games as an exclusive. We've said that forever. But if that's not going to happen, and obviously it's probably going to be everywhere, Ubisoft Forward, June 10th this year. Is it time, Matt, for the return of Sam Fisher and potentially the storyline that we speculated on long ago that has actually got a book written about it where his daughter takes over the mantle? Is this a possibility this year, Mav? Is this the year? Is your gut telling you we've been wrong so many times in the past, but this is the year, man? It finally happens. What do you think?
I think it's got to be, man. I think it's got to be. Like, it's time, right? Like we talk about when they announced it there in that blog post. It's been like 2.5 years now. We're going into this summer, not seeing a damn thing from this game. It's time. It's an empty genre too. Like, please, like Ubisoft. This is one of the things that's bugged me the most about them. In the past, I think Ubisoft has been doing a lot better this past year or so, right? But they missed the mark on their easy home runs. You know what I mean? They like have these easy home runs. These like things that it's like so obvious. Every time there is a game showcase or a Ubisoft event, everybody's like, Splinter Cell going to show up? Are we going to hear those goggles? Is it going to be that moment? And everybody starts talking about it. There's rumors. Even back before when there was tons of games that were leaked from like Walmart.com or Amazon or something. I can't remember. And like every game was like true. And Splinter Cell was one of them. But the Splinter Cell game never showed up, you know? There's so much speculation over the years about, are we going to finally see it return? To the point where they've waited so long that now a lot of people just don't care anymore. They stop speculating on it because it's just a dead franchise to them, and the younger crowd doesn't even know what the hell it is. You know, it's been that long. I mean, they skipped the entire generation last generation, and now we're into our 4th year of this generation, and still nothing, right? So it has to be, because this game exists. Like, I think the teases from the Twitter accounts and stuff, and even like the profile, like kind of obvious hints about the franchise and stuff like that. I think it has to be. They obviously still care about the franchise too. They put Third Echelon, or I don't remember if it's 3rd or 4th, but they put that in X Defiant, right? So like they're still in the essence of the Clancy brand, keeping that franchise alive. So I think it has to be this year, and I think we're going to see it. But my hope is that the game's not as far away as we think it could be, right? What if they announce it for this year and it actually comes out this year, or like announce it this year and see at latest next year? You know, and I think when it does actually get shown and get announced, I think there will be hopefully enough of the diehard older fans or people that know what Splinter Cell is in the franchise to drum up enough hype that it kind of spreads throughout the community, because this is it's not just this game, but this genre is just dead, right? Yes. The spy, espionage, tacticals, kind of slow paced. You get caught, you're fucked. You know what I mean? That kind of.
Josh Sawyer just talked about this, in fact, right?
Yeah, so I saw
when
him.
He did.
Yeah.
He actually answered my question about Alpha
yours?
Protocol. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
dude,
that was mine, bro.
I didn't know that was your fucking question.
He put mine together. He put mine together with some other ones about Alpha Protocol, but mine was one that he called out. Yeah, that was my Twitter question to him when he did a little recorded AMA, right. And I had posed a question to him about Alpha Protocol, what he would like to see from an Alpha Protocol nowadays, if he got to work on another one, etc. So he kind of mixed it in there, but his answer was exactly what you said, Matt, that he doesn't think that spy espionage games are the rage now, that they probably that's a genre that's kind of died off, unfortunately.
So when he was talking, he was like, he doesn't know, he kind of came across like he doesn't know how well they would do today. Like, what do you guys think? You know, and he was kind of like acting like that. I'm like, they would do fucking great, man. Like, the last one that really came out was Metal Gear Solid 5, you know, and that game did fairly well from what I can remember. I mean, there hasn't been a Splinter Cell since then. There was a lot of mistakes that they made with Splinter Cell before that I think kind of fucked them over with their thought process of like how successful the franchise is. Either choosing when to release the game, how they released them, some of what they did with the focus on certain modes over other things and stuff like that. The last couple games they kind of like missed the mark because they try to do too much different stuff instead of just kind of stick to the formula that was working for them. And I think this is the key thing, and it's going to that blog post that we talked about a couple years ago when they said all the right things about sticking true to like what it's all about and like what Splinter Cell fans want to see. And if they get that right, if they get these things right, then I think we're going to see a certain level of hype kind of come back, not just for the game, but for that genre. And if a game comes out that is done the right way, because I think any genre can be successful if it's an excellent version of that game in that genre. Like you have all different kinds of genres out there, and you have shitty games in them and you have great games in them, and the great games are going to do good, and they're going to kind of push that genre forward and elevate it. But if you have shitty games in a genre, it becomes more niche and it just becomes less interesting. And if Splinter Cell comes out and they really do right, like back to the old school ideas of what Splinter Cell was about, next level graphics, right? Great gameplay, focus on the lighting and of the environments as well. A really solid story. Decision making has to be crucial. Immersive realism type environment that you're in. And play with the light and shadows, all these different things like that they can do, have the characters stand on their own 2 feet like they are well-written characters from a book. That's how they came across to me before when playing the Splinter Cell games. And then you gotta add spies versus mercs. You gotta that's what gives you the player retention. You don't have to turn it into this other crazy thing yet. Like start with just the basic modes and focus on what's excellent about them, and then establish that and grow from there. Support it, add stuff to it, then come out with more stuff. You don't have to go all crazy off the bat and try and create the next best thing in multiplayer that's ever existed. Just make a really fucking good spies versus mercs mode, kind of like the classics like Chaos Theory or Double Agent or any of those great spies versus mercs modes from the past, Pandora Tomorrow, and have that be the core focus of the game. Story wise, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. They're calling it Splinter Cell Remake as far as what they talked about in the blog. I don't know if that's what the official name is going to be when they actually announce it. I do see it as more of a reboot because the way they talked about it is the launching point for the franchise going forward. So I think it's a little use of remake. I think they mean kind of restarting the franchise all over again. So how do they do that with a aging Michael Ironside? If they want to propel this franchise forward for the long haul, and those are the questions that we're all going to have to see. We came up with great ideas that we felt like could make a good story. But I do think even our ideas of what we pitch for the story, even though it makes a lot of sense, there will be a lot of people that have issues with it too, right? So I think our idea would actually be kind of a controversial one, although I think it makes a lot of sense. But I do think that this has so much potential and has a chance to be one of the great franchises in gaming again. Just fucking nail it. Yep. Nail the announcement. Do the announcement right, please. At this Ford event, don't just like have a little talk thing or whatever. Don't just have like a little mention of it, like oh, and we're gonna be working on this or we're working on it. Do the fucking moment that everybody's been waiting for. Give us that moment, and because that will be hype inducing. Everybody will be talking about it, right? Like, and hardly anybody talks about anything after a Ubisoft show. But this year, they have a chance to show a lot of good stuff because people are going to show up for the Star Wars game, right? For Star Wars Outlaws, people are going to show up just to see the next stuff from Star Wars Outlaws, right? So there ought to be a big audience there, and if they please get the moment right and give us everything we've wanted, like from that reveal, and then watch the hype train, watch the franchise elevate. And it's a home run. It's easy. So this is the year.
Yep.
Pressure's on you, Ubisoft. Don't fuck this up.
No. The Guillermo family doesn't give me much faith, man. But I agree with you, obviously, wholeheartedly. And I think, and Nate, it was awesome that Josh responded to mine.
Yeah.
Along with a couple others about Alpha Protocol. Again, it's a shame that Alpha Protocol, that Obsidian needs to get that IP back and work on it. Next gen, freaking, they need an Alpha Protocol too. I don't think it's going to happen, but Josh's point was that times have changed. And the world has changed since spies and espionage were a big deal. I still think that there's plenty of potential, and I think you get creative, but there are plenty of hotspots throughout the world where we still know that plenty of Sam Fishers would be appropriate going in. There's plenty of different ways you could write this still to this day. And, again, this was, I understand, like, even, Tom Clancy books at the time, rest in peace, Tom Clancy, were huge because it was coming out of the Cold War and all that kind of stuff. So spies and espionage were a big thing, but we still see that happening. It's changed, certainly, but they're still doing this across the globe, and there's new updated tech. I mean, we could bring drones in to scout out ahead even more so than the older games. Like, there's so many different things you could do to modernize this kind of concept nowadays that would make it exciting for the players, mechanics wise. So I think there's a lot of stuff that you could do to bring this back, and I just want to see them do it right, like you said, Mav. For me and any of the younger audience, like Mav was talking about, that is listening or now or in the future, if you guys haven't played Splinter Cell, understand all those games are backwards compatible. Go back and play them. Some of them aren't going to hold up, but a lot of them hold up extremely well. Like some of the things they did, I'm sure a lot of you have seen. Which Splinter Cell was it with the fish tank, Mav? It was like one of the. Was that Black Cell? No, it wasn't Black Cell.
That might have been the first.
Was it Black Cell?
Or
it might have been the first
Tomorrow.
one. Whatever it was.
It could have been Pandora Tomorrow.
Pandora's Tomorrow. Yeah, whichever one it was. You've probably seen that video. People put in there. Because the devs actually had a fish tank where you shot it, the bullet hole, it would leak out the water, and the water would drain out slowly. Like we don't get that in games a lot of days nowadays. That kind of realism, that kind of immersion in a game. And this was way back in the day. That's some of the stuff that we used to get when devs got really creative. So the Splinter Cell games are still awesome. Some of them even play at 4K on current gen consoles. I'd highly recommend going back and playing them again. But I think Splinter Cell is, for me, as long, I agree that they should, Ubisoft, in all this chasing down, games as a service type money, they have a mode in Spies versus Mercs that might never have been the biggest thing ever, but a lot like Factions for Last of Us, it had an extremely passionate fan base, including Matt. Now, I never played them because I wasn't doing that type of multiplayer back then. I was doing Battlefield, I was doing Call of Duty, I was doing those types of games back then. I wasn't playing Spies versus Mercs. I was just in the single player experience. But it definitely had a fan base that remembers it and would be clamoring for it. But for me, even if you're not going to invest in it out the gate, as long as you do the single player right, and we can all of us old heads, and they do it right. Again, I'm not saying we just go buy any old slop that they throw at us. But if the devs are being serious in their blog post about what they're going for, and they set up even a smaller version, right? A smaller kind of sample of Splinter Cell, but it is and plays like the old ones, except obviously current day stuff involved mechanics wise and all that kind of stuff. And it is top tier. As long as all of us old heads go support it, Ubisoft then should definitely be looking at getting another team together to make a Spies versus Mercs if they're not going to do it out the gate. And like Mav said, Ubisoft, don't chase the golden goose. You don't have to make it the biggest fucking deal in the world. It doesn't have to be some great grand games as a service out the gate. Bring back some of the classic maps, redo them, and just put them out there and start finding
if
an
they
audience.
remade the classic maps,
bro, like Call of Duty did, bro. Come on, man. go remake those classic. They're all set up for you.
Mhm.
They already played up. They played well. It has been so long since anybody has played Spies versus Mercs.
Yeah.
You bring those back, nobody's gonna fucking complain that you're playing old maps. Nobody.
I feel like there's probably so many people that don't even know what Spies
There
versus
is.
Mercs
No,
is. You know
there's
what I
not.
mean? And even listening
Correct.
right now, but
Mhm.
like the people that played this game mode in Splinter Cell, like the fan base of Splinter Cell, like would tell a lot of people would tell you this is like maybe up there with any of their most favorite multiplayer experiences of all time, right? The issue we had back then is we were battling horrible servers. So there was like bad lag like all the time. It's just the way it was back then, especially with Ubisoft games. Like even you can think about even the other like 360 Ubisoft Clancy games, or even before the Rainbow Sixes and stuff like that. Always just battling shitty servers, but it was seemingly usually even worse in the Splinter Cell games for some reason. But when you had good connections and everything was rolling well, like the fucking game mode was just so special and good, and it was so unique and competitive, and made you think. It was a thinking person's multiplayer game. It's not just it's not just like how fast you can react, and it, like run and gun like Call of Duty can become, and reaction time. It's strategy, you know. It's using strategy to manipulate the other players. It's getting gotcha moments. You know what I mean?
More like
And
Rainbow Six Siege.
yeah, kind of
So it's more
right.
tactical in a
And
different way, but
and
more tactical.
and those are like my favorite kind of multiplayer like experiences. Like besides Halo, I love Halo, and I do like Call of Duty, but those are so awesome to me because it allows you to play to your like, for me it allows me to try and play to different strengths that I would have, as opposed to just whoever has the best
Load up.
Twitch skills, you know what I mean, like a Twitch shooter skills, and I think the thing about it, like, because there was, just to explain what Spies versus Mercs is, you had a team of spies, right? And they would be in third person. So it usually be like 3-on-3, right? You'd have third person spies. So you're running around like the single player game. You have your regular spy. A spy, you can grab the enemy from behind, and you can grab them by the neck. You can snap their neck. You can jump on them, right, and knock them out. You can do different things like that. And your objective was usually to try and hack like an objective point, and you could do it from a proximity, or like right up against it, like if you were in line of sight of it, right? Now the mercs were like almost like you're playing Rainbow Six back in the day, old school. You were a first person, right? And you had guns and you have armor, and there's different mercs and there's different spies because you got different loadouts and stuff, right? So the mercs would have a mechanic. If you detect a spy is behind you, you think you could swing around and swing your arms and like knock them down on the ground, and then you can just lay into them and kill them. Or you can, you look around, you're always looking up and down and everywhere, and you're trying to kill the spies while the spies are trying to get the hack the terminal and then escape, right? And it just created this like crazy good emergent kind of multiplayer experience where you have if you have great communication and you work together, no matter which side you're on, you can really use those to your strengths, and it's such a unique experience that have not replicated in any other game. And it's kind of a shame that it's like just disappeared, from gaming. Not to say also just the regular game as well, like the single player. 'Cause, like even like Chaos Theory, right? You look at Chaos Theory, if you're a Splinter Cell fan, Chaos Theory is probably your Mount Rushmore of Splinter Cell games, right? You have amazing single player campaign, maybe the best in the series. You have a fully fleshed out co-op with separate storyline missions and huge levels to go through, where you have to communicate with your teammate, and they're infinitely replayable. And then you had one of the best multiplayer Spies versus Mercs modes as well with Chaos Theory. And like, if they could somehow bring that level of detail and like attention and everything to this new Splinter Cell game, man, that's what I want. I just want something special to come back and unique, because a lot of these games are trying to all be so similar, and there's this huge hole in the industry for this type of game. And like Josh Sawyer said, he doesn't know. They don't know if it's to be popular anymore. Well, let's find out, right? Let's find out. But don't. But you got to go all in on it to try it. You know, like on the things that are important.
Agreed. And this is, again, Sam Fisher as a character is up there.
Yeah.
And again, if they've got to move on, because obviously Michael Ironside is so old. I can say that, and he's had lots of health problems. God bless him. That you do eventually have to move on sometimes from the characters, the iconic characters, and I'm cool with that. Mav and I, speculate about this. I'm cool with that, and obviously, again, however you're gonna do it, as long as you keep the core of what made the game great. Which again, Sam Fisher was a great character, but the writing was top notch. And you can do that with another character. You get a great actor in there to do a performance that lives up to the Michael Ironside, Sam Fisher type quality. People will transition over. And for the new people that never did experience the old Splinter Cell, it's going to be a fresh start for them.
Yeah.
I don't care how you got to do it. I just think that you got to keep Splinter Cell around. You got to keep it alive, and you can't bastardize it with skins and other games and DLC packs that are pretty much meaningless. And your other games, when you have this franchise that meant so much to so many people. And again, we are the older gamers, right? We are the gamers that are aging now, but at the same time, there's still a lot of us, and there's still a lot of us that get up in our nostalgia. And I know Steel rails against nostalgia a lot too, and Steel will fight me on this, that nostalgia sometimes doesn't live up to what we used to think it is, because our rose tinted glasses, kind of give us a bad perspective. But I say that there are some franchises that deserve another try. And again, this is one of them for sure. Splinter Cell is at the top of my list. That should never have disappeared for an entire generation.
Yeah.
There should have been at least one game. I'm not saying they have to make them like they used to and pump them out 2 or 3 per generation. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it should have a carry on where you give a chance for new people to experience what that type of world is like. And I disagreed, with Josh's response. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of hot spots throughout the world. There's plenty of different opportunities for creative people to write an interesting story, even in 2024, that doesn't revolve around the Cold War or the exit of the Cold War. There's plenty of stuff that you could still do. And I think bringing in new tech that, modernized military and stuff are using, and some, outlandish stuff that maybe isn't real, but is certainly possible, grounded in reality. Bro, it opens up all new chances, new opportunities, almost Batman-like stuff that, you could bring in that I think would be totally dope. And I think that, again, however they're going to do this, I just hope to do it right, but I can't wait. If this is going to happen, finally, and we're going to get this teaser at the Ubisoft Forward, what a great year to do it in, Mav. And again, I think that's got to be pretty far along at this point, I would hope.
Yeah.
This isn't a skull and bone situation, that this is a smaller team working on a very focused type game and experience in the old school manner, even if it winds up being like Assassin's Creed Mirage in the fact that it's not this big, huge, giant open world thing. Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The thing about Mirage, man, is like,
yeah.
I love it because it plays like the older Assassin's Creed games that were still big games to me. Right. Like when I played Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed 3 and and stuff like that, I wasn't like, man, these games are so small.
Right.
I was like, yeah, these games are fucking huge, and that's kind of like what Mirage is. It's not as big as Odyssey or Origin or anything like that, or Valhalla, especially not Valhalla. But fuck, man, it feels like classic Assassin's Creed. So I like that. It's crazy to see kind of the reaction after that game came out about the size of it. Even they also sold it for $50.
Right.
And I was like, that comparatively graphics wise and everything compared to like Assassin's Creed 2 and 3 and all those things, it's like kind of about the same scope of those games, and except now it's just like looks way better, and we get it for $50 because it's seemingly less than, like, you know, it's
I'm good with it, man.
I'm down with that $50 thing, you know, like give me that for $50 every day of the week, bro. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, we got 10 gifted from Bold Alpha.
Bro, we got 10 gifted from Decado. So attention, ladies and gentlemen, aboard the fun speculation hype train. We weren't satisfied at a Mach 4.5, so we kicked it all the way up to Mach 5.5. Thanks to two incredible members who flew on by and dropped off some bags of coal, and they did back-to-back alley-oop dunks. They got on the court together as they are wont to do, showing you all how it's done. Brought the goal down to 7,700 even for the month of April. And of course, those two amazing individuals are none other than Decado with the easy 10 bomb. That's right. And then, of course, his partner in crime, Bull Alpha Wolfpack, came through with an easy 10 dunk as well. That's right. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. If you weren't buckled up, now's the time. And to the 2 cars of people that got on board, actually 4 cars total. That's right. 4 cars, 20 new members to the speculators. Welcome aboard. Please, if you haven't already, take your seats. Get your 4-point harnesses buckled up, because this hype train don't slow down for new people. It just keeps rolling along. Mach 5.5 right now. Choo-choo, motherfuckers, choo-choo. Ad-free 2024. Let's go. You guys are doing it. Thank you all. Appreciate you, Decado and Bold Alpha. Again, the support is absolutely amazing. Great first topic there, Mav. Again, Splinter Cell is near and dear our hearts.
Yeah.
Again, you had more, obviously, in the Spies and Mercs than I did. But still, however they're going to bring this back, I just want to see it. So I hope this is the year, man. I hope this is the year.
As favorite franchises of all time in the past for me, it was Halo 1A. Like Splinter Cell was 1B, you know, like, and it just sucks to have seen it gone for so long.
Correct. No, it's wrong, man. It's so wrong. And for all the shit that Ubisoft has tried in the meantime and chased, and to just have this franchise dormant is freaking stupid.
And they lied to us about why we didn't get one for so long.
Correct. Of course.
That was the other thing that was pissed me off, and this is why I had past streams where I just like went off on Ubisoft, like, and you can find them earlier on in this channel, but like, they would Eves would answer questions in interviews like, oh, devs only want to make big open world games now, and all these other kind of things and stuff. But like, we know from like conversations we've had that like there's developers that made pitches and pitches and pitches for different Splinter Cell games and just were continuously shut down. And it wasn't until they realized that, hey, maybe they need to expand their portfolio again now, because their whole same thing with every one of our games idea is not working, right? That they decided to give it a go again. So we'll see what they do.
Yep. Nope. We shall see.
They said all the right things in the blog post. So.
They did. That blog post is amazing. For anybody who wants to search, you can search it, find it easily. But that blog question was absolutely incredible when we broke it down. Are you serious? Did we write this? What are we doing?
It was like
it was like the biggest fan service blog post of all time, bro. Like, just everything was right.
Yeah, it just crazy. Had no hype because it was just a blog post, and it was just like kind of spread around Twitter for a little bit. It was just like the 3rd or 4th news topic of the day for people, when like a Splinter Cell announcement should be like, you know,
massive.
And there's also confusion about what it is because they use the word remake.
Of course,
you know.
Of course, so people didn't understand what it's going to be for sure. It's more of a reboot than anything, I think. But we shall see. Hopefully, June 10th, Ubisoft Forward. Again, everybody, mark that on your calendars. It will be the Monday, probably following the Xbox showcase if this all lines up like it normally does year after year. So
It isn't Snowdrop, right? It's Snowdrop. I think they
yes,
said that in the blog post back
in
then.
blog posts.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, it's
Of
gonna be
course.
so good, bro.
One of the most beautiful freaking engines ever created and can do next gen.
Yeah.
Man, we had another little tidbit drop thanks to Jeffrey Grub. And he went on the Xcast over at Kind of Funny with Snowbike Mike and Paris. Yeah. He joined those two and had a nice conversation. I actually listened to the whole show today. It's funny, Mav. This isn't the topic we're going to talk about. We say this a lot, but mainstream media, games media, just they really don't have a pulse of what's going on in the gaming industry. It's funny. I'm not going to say all of them aren't passionate about games. Obviously, some of them have been, being journalists for a long time, whether it's on camera or just writing. A lot of these people have been in the games industry for a very long time. But, we see this elsewhere, sports and stuff too, where people that you think should be the most knowledgeable or should pay the most attention to all the goings ons and all kind of the talk that's been happening for a long time around the games industry. You think that these people should be the ones that know. I mean, even the people that have high budget, high production value shows, that this is their career, you would think that even if they're too busy to always be online and always be looking up stuff, you'd think that they would have handlers and producers and people that work behind the scenes, as a lot of these shows do, that would bring speculation and topics to them about kind of what the word is on the street. But man, I was listening to the show today, and they were talking about things, Mav, that we've been talking about for a very freaking long time. And it was like new to them, because obviously they were talking Xbox and kind of the direction they're going and all that kind of stuff. Right. But there was a couple moments where I just was laughing because I was like, you guys kidding me right now? You guys didn't know that this has kind of been the word on the street, or that people have been speculating on this stuff for a very, very long time. And this is nothing new to those of us that do this on a weekly basis. Like, how is this new to you guys? So I just found that funny. But one of the things they did bring up today was Gears of War 6, man.
Yeah.
Gears of War 6. So Paris, even though he hates leakers and hates all that kind of stuff, brought up the fact that he's been hearing that Gears of War 6 might be shown sometime during the summer, obviously, the showcase, obviously. And then Grub spoke up. Grub wasn't going to say anything, but the minute that Paris brought it up, Grub, when it went to him, said, let me add to that, because Snowbike Mike was going to move on from it. And Grub said, no, I have heard as well that Gears of War 6 is going to be showing something this summer, right? A tease. And we also had Shinobi. For those of you that don't know, Shinobi 602 on X, formerly known as Twitter. He is big in Reset Era and Reddit. He's got a lot of posts. Some people don't like him. I personally like him. I think he's a cool dude. Everything he's posted is fine by me. Don't always agree with his takes, but it's fine. I don't have a problem with Shinobi. He's got some good information a lot of times, and he does seem to have some connections in the industry. He's not that typical leaker guy, but he will come out with information. He had a post. Somebody had posted, I think it was in Reset Era or Reddit. I can't remember which one it was. Somebody had posted about Gears of War 6, and he simply said, just wait, people aren't ready for Gears 6, as in that it looks spectacular. Now, this is nothing new. We've heard some smoke behind the scenes too, Mav, that this is looking ridiculous. What the coalition is cooking up is going to set new bar. We're going to talk a little bit about it, as far as Unreal Engine 5 goes, because we're going to talk about Hellblade 2 in 30 frames. Obviously, I think most of us expect that Gears will not be that.
Yeah.
But Gears 6 Man, this is something that we have talked about for a very long time. And when is it going to finally be teased? We know the coalition was working on smaller projects for a while, testing out UE5. We had heard those projects may have been canceled or at least put on the back burner while they focus now on Gears 6. They took some time off. People were kind of frustrated with that. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the direction of 4 and 5 at all, but still, make no mistake about it, Gears is a great franchise. Obviously, people like Steel and others who are hardcore in the multiplayer, they want that to come back. Some people are claiming that Gears has, past its time and that Xbox should move on from Gears and it's not as popular as it once was. I saw that going around again in post today, which is utterly ridiculous. That it's not a system seller anymore, so why make it? Get the fuck out of here. Gears is a massive franchise, and we're hoping that they do bring it back to a little darker version of Gears. We'll see what they do. But Mav, get word today that they're finally ready to at least tease it come Xbox showcase time, which again, we just said we think should be around June 9th if all things fall in line with it normally how it does. On that Sunday, Gears 6 Coalition. Again, word's been on the street for a while. This is going to be special, especially graphically speaking. A Coalition are masters of the Unreal Engine. Obviously, Epic themselves brought them in to help with the Matrix demo that they put out. Like when the creators of the engine come a knocking at a developer's door, and again, we already know this, but that Coalition is right next to Epic, the original creators of Unreal, as the best in the business when it comes to using this tech. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk around Unreal Engine 5, but Gear 6 finally finishing off the second trilogy in hopefully spectacular fashion. Obviously, multiplayer, we'll see what they're going to do with that. It's not, as Steele said, for the casuals. You don't walk into Gears multiplayer and expect to be good. You don't walk into that multiplayer and expect not to run into sweaties. People hate it or people love it. A lot of people hate it for that reason, but the whole package, this is another whole package type game, single player experience and multiplayer experience. What are you thinking about the Gears 6 finally being teased come this summer, Matt? What do you think?
Yeah, I heard you use the word special in there. I think Gears 6 will probably be extremely special. But before I want to say too much on this, something else is very special. There's a Lotus Esprit with his Transformer Hippo Recliner Super Sticker.
Oh, Jesus. Look at you, Lotus.
Hitting us with a 50 bomb with a sticker, man. You are special, Lotus.
That's clearing out some more land for some more track for the hype train. That's what he's doing around here with that 50 bomb. That's right. He had the mother of all bombs come on through. That 50 bomb. Choo-choo, motherfucker. We don't discriminate around here. Thank you, Lotus Esprit. Appreciate you. And in fact, I'll give you credit for that towards your goal. Down to 7,650 now for the month of April. Let's go.
Only 7,600. That seems so within reach.
I know. You're all amazing.
Yeah, chat. Thank you so much, guys. Lotus, you're awesome, bro. All right. Like Gears 6. I talked a long time ago, kind of when we started this channel, quite a bit about Gears because there was Gears 5 had kind of just come out, and then we had the Hive Busters thing, and
which was ridiculously good.
It was. Hive Busters was amazing. And
old school Gears.
There was talk at the time like, what does Coalition do next? And that there was like other projects that they were rumored to start working on besides Gears, and it was kind of like, yeah, I would love to see what Coalition can do besides Gears, because I felt like it wasn't the fact that they just kept doing Gears, and but it was more about that. That's what all Xbox was Forza, Gears, and Halo, right? Mm-hmm. And you had these other studios out there that were good with two different franchises, right? And I felt like at the time, it's like, well, it'd be nice if Coalition could try and kickstart a second franchise. It'd be awesome to see what they could do. Because I felt like at the time, Gears needed a little bit of a break just because of the Forza Gears Halo thing. And it'd be nice to have a little bit more time, try and do something else and then come back to it. However, man, so much time has seemed to have passed between them because I am itching and screaming for a new Gears now because I feel like we got that break and I'm fucking ready. I really am. I'm ready for Gear 6, especially knowing what the coalition could do with Unreal Engine 5 and just my thought process of them like really pushing things to the next level, especially with like Xbox kind of like giving extra time to these devs in recent years and then having these a little bit bigger budgets and really investing into these games. And I feel like Coalition may be benefiting the most because I remember when they had moved on from the other projects and so they were putting them on the back burner to just focus on Gears. I'm like, okay, well, that they must know they got something here and are really going to push for it. Because at the time we speculated, well, maybe it's because I needed to get it out because there was like no games or whatever at the time. But it's been 2 years since then, so obviously that wasn't the case. And now they're like going to be releasing this in the midst, whenever they release it, they're going to be releasing it in the midst of all these other games that Xbox has, all these other franchises they're rolling with. So Gears has a chance to just be there as one of the pillars, but not have to stand on its own anymore, but still have that chance to shine because of how amazing that franchise is. And I kind of think in the back of my mind that they're gonna go more into the hardcore, darker side of Gears. I think they're going to push graphics to the next level for Gears. I think the whole 60 versus 30 thing, I think we're going to get I think it's going to be 60 frames on Gears. So even though it's Unreal Engine 5, I'm not necessarily as worried about that, especially with the style of game that Gears is. So overall, I think it's going to be pretty damn amazing. The question I have, and I'm wondering what they do, is if they are going to also do the like a Marcus Phoenix collection with the announcements, right? Because they said Gears 6. What my dream would be is to get Gears 6 announcement for, let's say, 2025, and this holiday get like a Gears collection. I don't know if that's possible for them to have all that stuff out, or if that would be like overkill. But I want that multiplayer experience, like unified, kind of like Master Chief Collection got, with all of the Gears maps, all of the modes and everything kind of bundled into one huge package with the campaigns kind of redone. And that could get people that are new to the franchise ready for next year when Gears 6 comes out. And then you push the whole game and genre of that cover based pop, whatever you want to call it, shooter, like forward, because we don't really get, as there was a lot of games that kind of kept doing the same formula over and over and over again at the time. There was a lot of like people kind of copycatting Gears. We don't really have a lot of games like that anymore. Everything's either like run and gun or super fast paced now, jump super high or run, like there's so many different. I think gaming's changed where it's less strategic and tactical and all that kind of stuff. I feel like Gears kind of was like a happy medium where you have like crazy guns but it's also gory and it's also serious and still tactical and strategic, but still over the top and can be kind of fast paced, but more so with the individual fights that you get into sometimes. But Gears is just overall a special franchise, and it's going to be nice to see it back. I wonder how like how far forward it'll see compared to Gears 5. Like if is Hive Busters, like Hive Busters was impressive, bro. Like when I played Hive Busters for the first time, that was like my first feeling of getting a next gen experience.
Mhm.
and it
Yep.
was on an expansion for a last gen game. But when
Mhm.
I played that, I was like, there's one level where you're in, and like there's all these machines going off, and like they're setting off like this cold, uh, um, like air or something in the environment, and then there's sparks going and particle effects going, and then the lighting, and there's lights flashing, and there's all these things, crazy shit all happening in this just one room. And when I experienced that, I was like, this is all happening. This is happening at like super high resolution, at a high frame rate, and it's all fucking gorgeous. And this is super fun to play. I was like, this is fucking awesome, right? And that was like, if this is what it's going to be like, if this is even a glimpse, if this going to be only a glimpse of what we're going to potentially get with like a fully fleshed out Gears 6, we're going to be in for something fucking special. Because I think whatever we saw then, like Unreal Engine 5 wasn't like even really out yet. Like they hadn't really done a lot of things with Unreal 5. They just done the project thing that they had presented at the Unreal event. And then they did stuff like that, but I think that this is going to be a showpiece. I have a feeling this is going to be Coalition's like magnum opus game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll say. Gears
I agree
6
with
will be the magnum opus of the Coalition, and will also potentially be, along with Hellblade 2, but in a different way, the magnum opuses of Unreal Engine 5.
Mm.
Because I think those are the two most talented developers with Unreal in different ways. But like, besides Epic with what they do with all the Fortnite stuff and everything, but overall for this kind of experience, it's going to, I think it's going to reestablish the Gears franchise in a big way. And I haven't seen a damn thing from the game, but just Hive Busters was enough for me to get that feeling of what's possible. And I think people are ready. I don't think the whole topic about people need to, like, people
Yeah.
don't care about Gears anymore, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's been long enough. Like, I'm getting the itch. I have a strong itch to play Gears again. I was kind of burnt out on it. I wanted that break. I wanted them to do something else. Not anymore. I want them to fucking go all in and bring Gears back in a big way. And I think they'll do it. I think it's been long enough, and we're itching for it. I don't know. Chad, are y'all itching for Gears to come back? Are y'all itching for the next Gears, or you think you're tired of it? Are you tired of Gears of War? Are you ready to see what the Coalition can bring to the table with this new technology and everything at their disposal? I want to know. Let me know. Are you tired, or you want them to fucking
I'm
make
ready
a
for
magnum
Kate's
opus?
story to be done.
Let's go.
I'm ready for Kate's story to be done
Yeah.
and get rid of the whiny kids.
What if the
So
game
how are they
starts
gonna end
out
it?
and they get rid of all the whiny kids and just have a bunch of old fuckers you're playing as an
I
old
that's
yes.
that's fine. I
Yeah,
don't care if
let's
they bring
go.
back the trope and they say they recloned everybody and brought them all back
Yeah.
to life. I don't give a shit. Just bring me the old dude, bro, shooter again. The dark and gritty that we got in the first three. But again, that's just my own personal taste, my own personal flavor. Plenty of people love 4 and 5. Games are gorgeous. Games play fantastic. But I'm ready, Mav. I'm ready for 6. I'm ready for them to bring back the multiplayer. I think I heard you when I got back talking about the Marcus Phoenix collection. If they do that, whatever they want to do with 6 is fine. If they do a full-fledged Marcus Phoenix collection and they bring the first 3 up to date, and I can go back and play my old multiplayer, and I can go back and re-experience the campaigns in the best light possible again, I will do that. I will be a happy camper. They're going to do whatever the hell they want with 6, as long as they do that part of it. And again, that smoke has been out there for a very long time, and I think it makes the most sense. We've all had discussions about this. Steel's on board with it as well, doing the Marcus Phoenix collection prior to coming out with number 6. So if you tease, if this summer if it turns out to be what we thought could happen at last year's showcase, and they come out and they tease 6, and then they said, oh, by the way, December of this year, or November this year, Marcus Phoenix collection is dropping, y'all. And went back and redid the first 3, or whoever did it. It'd probably be somebody outside of Coalition with Coalition's help. But we've redone the first 3, and we're bringing back the multiplayer. It's all going to be in one package for you. Yo, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's the perfect way to start the Gears hype again and to get everybody feeling good about Gears again. Now, to Steele's point, and he's always been on about this, and that's something that I brought up before I gave it to you, was the multiplayer. How do they make the multiplayer relevant in 2024 or whenever this launches? It might be a next gen console release, by the way, everybody. They did speculate. Grub and Paris were speculating about that on Xcast today too, that this could be the next gen launch, which if it's 2026, that's fine. I don't have a problem with the time frame. As long as we get the Marcus Phoenix collection in there, I'm cool. But how do you make multiplayer fresh again?
Get rid of the Nasher. Just get rid of the Nasher.
Bro, you can't get rid of it. Fuck. Get the
fuck. I hate that thing.
Get the fuck. Bro, it's so good. You learn how to play with it. And
it is. The problem with it is it's the only fucking gun anybody ever uses in the game because it's so
That's
OP.
Because nobody else uses the other guns to their best benefit to get good at protecting. There was some people who got really good at actually getting through the wall bounce, but you had to get good.
And again, that's OP, man.
Right, but that's the big question, and Steele has asked us too. Just how do they do it? Because again, for people like him, for the hardcore out there, even for somebody like me who was not necessarily a sweaty, but for the first 3, I did play a lot of multiplayer. I loved the multiplayer, even though it was full of sweaties. I didn't care. It was like one of the games I didn't care about losing in, because I actually did get pretty damn good with the Nasher because I spent time with it. So I could compete. So I was fine. Let us compete. But what do they do to bring a bigger audience into the multiplayer? How do they make sure that the multiplayer is going to be supported? How do they avoid making mistakes like they did in the latest iterations, where people got upset at the cosmetics and the boxes and all that? How do you stay away from that and yet still put some of that, incorporate that in? That's the balance that they're really going to have. I don't have any issues I don't have any questions or concerns that they're not going to be able to put together a single player game, right? Again, I think they're going to be able to put together a great campaign again, even if it's not up my alley. I still think, but Hivebusters gives me a lot of hope. I think they're going to put together a single player. Fine. It's how do they make the multiplayer work in this generation? And that is the biggest question possible.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, but I'm excited. Again, I want to see this tease. I just want to get a glimpse. Even if you just give me a glimpse of an environment and you give me a glimpse of what one of the character models looks like in game in Unreal Engine 5, that's enough for me. Just give me a glimpse. Give me a glimpse of what this game's going to look like, and I'm cool. It's time. Gears has been gone long enough. It is time to finish the Kate trilogy, be done with the whiny kids once and for all. What Coalition does after that, I have no idea, but I don't care. I've said all along, I would be happy with them making something new, but if they can get back and redo, go back to Gears is a big universe, much like Halo. It's not as well respected as the Halo universe, but the lore for Gears, there's a lot of places you could go with Gears, and there's a lot of stories to tell within the Gears universe if they really want to continue this series and franchise. So I hope they do, because I think Gears needs to continuously be around. But if this is a launch title for the next gen console, again, we've talked about what the launch lineup could be for Xbox's next gen. Listen, you throw a Gears 6 in there on UE5 with the Masters, with new hardware that is absolutely out of this world. That was the one thing that was brought up today, Mav, that I was talking about when I led up into this topic here. Mav, they brought up, would you guys be okay with Xbox going the enthusiast and making a high-end machine? Yo, listen, y'all. Where you been? Where you been? This is the conversation. Oh my God.
When did we start that?
Oh my. forever ago when we started hearing about hybrid and all that shit. So last year,
before this console generation even
maybe
launched.
what it could look like. What
When we were talking about would they next generation do like a mid-gen refresh and stuff, and like we started talking about how often would they release consoles. Eventually, the consoles become more of just an enthusiast box. You know what I mean? And as more people have access to other places, the console market kind of dwindling down, and like being for the enthusiasts that play consoles will be willing to spend more money. The companies will be less willing to take as big of a hit on it because they're for specialized people. That anyway, we had all these conversations like years ago, bro.
It's hilarious. Yeah. But I was super happy to hear Grub was all on board with the enthusiast console.
Yeah.
He's like, give me the handheld and give me the enthusiast console. He's like, that sounds sweet to me.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, yes, let's go that route if we're gonna do this. God Emperor Sofa King, member for 10 months. Thank you, God Emperor Sofa King says, get rid of the wall bounce. Yo, y'all, listen, every multiplayer game has its things, okay? Including Halo. All right? Including Halo. Every multiplayer has a thing that the sweaties can pull off better than the casuals. And it makes it unfair, but it's a skill thing. Wall bounce and Nasher.
I know. I was halfway kidding about the Nasher. It just seems like it's like when you get into the tougher competition.
Nasher dances are so fun, bro.
They can be. They can be.
You know? When you're both going for freaking headshots. Oh my god!
They can't get rid of it. It's just such too iconic to the franchise, right?
Yep.
Like, but I feel like maybe make the other weapons, some of the other ones that don't get utilized as much, feel more worthwhile to use. But like, I don't know how to do that when, like, I think they are worthwhile, just nobody uses them, you know? And if you do get those skilled players to do the wall bounce Nasher thing, it becomes really difficult to shoot those people with the other weapons in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they need to figure out, right? Because it's like I
don't disagree. In the grand scheme, if they want to bring more people in and keep more people in the multiplayer, they do have to do something, right? And it could be drastic. You're gonna piss off the hardcore fans no matter what you do.
That's the problem with these established franchises, you know.
It is.
Halo
we've seen it time and time again with Halo.
I got a question though. Do you think they go the Halo route and do the multiplayer as like a free to play thing to try and draw in more people?
They could. They learn their lessons, so Coalition's gonna have to have. They're gonna have to have content ready.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about we're giving Coalition all this time and maybe to launch a next gen in 2026, holiday 2026, then I think it's certainly possible that they could pull that off. That would be dope. That would be cool as hell. Make the multiplayer always free to play, and if they've got the content, they got to have the team. They got to have the content to pull that off. It's a big commitment, as we know, to do something like that. But yes, I think that certainly could be a plan for them. It's a good thought, man. It's a good.
I'm just curious because it's such a. I think about the investment for them to make these multiplayer modes now. You know what I mean? And like that's what keeps the engagement going is the multiplayer, right? And I'm just really in like multiplayer games that come with full package $70 games now don't really usually do that well, you know, except for like Call of Duty and stuff like there's obviously exceptions, you know. But this being like the Xbox exclusive, right? You don't have as many people out there to get it. You have PC and you have Xbox, right? Game Pass is obviously an option there, but I feel like that's why they did that with Halo, is to kind of like give those PC players like incentive as well to like keep jumping in and have reasons to jump back in, as well as the Xbox Xbox gamers. So I think long term, free to play has its benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Short term, like if you talk about soon after launch and stuff, I think it becomes more of a challenge, you know.
Yeah, no, it does, but
So
I think Halo's proven that
yeah,
it worked, right? Even though they fumbled completely, now that the game's free to play and accessible to everybody, and now that they've been working on it and
yeah,
they've got things in a good spot, people are coming back. People are playing it, right?
yeah,
So that model can support that. But again, I would expect if they do go that route, that Coalition is going to be prepared, and we're not going to have another Halo
yeah.
situation this time around.
The question is like, how do
I don't know,
they
man.
come up with the ideas of support and modes and content and ideas for
Well,
that? You know,
and the other question is, do they go more hive busters with the more focused single player?
oh, fucking would love that, dude.
Or do they keep trying this open world shit? Because again, one of the problems I did at four and five, like, okay, it's cool to have, I love open world games and it's cool with me, but that open world was fucking empty as hell, man.
Yeah, it was pointless.
It was
Gears,
cool.
especially Gears 5, if you're riding around on the thing,
Yes.
it's fun little
Oh,
thing to ride around on it. It's cool, looks cool
sure.
and stuff, but like
Yeah.
you're just going from point A to point B. Like there's really not
Yeah.
much reason to like do anything else other than go to your next mission, in which then the game becomes a traditional more Gears game when you get there, you know?
Correct. Correct.
So
And that
like
just
it just kind of was
I
like the point of the whole middle area of the sands and stuff just kind of seemed like more of an annoyance than it actually
yeah.
was like additive to the game,
Yep.
you know?
Nope. I agree wholeheartedly. And maybe they learned their lesson. Because I would love to see Hive Buster. Plus, I just think they do a better job
Yeah.
keeping the focus in narrower pathways than they do the
Yeah.
open world. And I don't think that's going to change. I just think Coalition's good at doing that. They're great at doing that. You go back and play the old Gears, they feel great. Every single part of the old Gears trilogy feels great. Even when they tried new things, they still kept it focused. When you were riding in vehicles or whatever else, it still felt good because they didn't have to try to create this whole open environment
Mhm.
where obviously they weren't able to put enough stuff in to keep it interesting. It just isn't like searching out for secret stuff in these huge open worlds while you're not getting into fights or anything like it's boring as hell.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
Especially when the
dumb.
rewards for the
Yeah,
things you find isn't really that great. It's
right.
more like just things that help you level up and
Correct.
stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I'm excited still for Gear 6. I'm excited to see what they do with this. I'm excited for the trilogy to Kate's trilogy to be done.
Do you
But
like
I want to
Jack?
see.
Do you like Jack
No, overall, no.
as even as a
He,
mechanic? I'm just like, I don't know.
he's okay. He doesn't let me put it this way. He doesn't bother me like the Disney-fied little stupid characters that they
Yeah.
throw in everything now. He doesn't bother me like that. He has his moments where he's kind of cool, but I guess the best part about Jack, I'll go with the best part about Jack was sending him to go collect shit, right? He
Yeah.
could go pick up shit for
Yeah,
you.
you give
That
you a
was the
gun
best
or
part.
ammo, right?
Gun or ammo, whatever else. That was fantastic, right? But the whole opening doors with Jack, Jack, come here, open this door.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, how many more times are you gonna have? This is dumb. This is not good pacing when you do
Mhm.
when you're just doing this to give him a reason to exist. So like I don't get that. But the pickup stuff, that kind of stuff was cool. I like that part about Jack. And again, he overall as a character didn't annoy me like a lot of side little characters they throw in do. He had his moments where he was funny, where I actually laughed. So
I'll
it's
throw in
fine.
another thing I want to see for Gear 6 is I don't want to be fucking shooting at robots.
Yeah, I fucking hate
Like
the robot.
the fucking it's so stupid. We go into one of the robot levels, like I don't want this. Um, but the other thing is they really want to push the envelope for multiplayer. I would say take your horde mode, right, and
Mm,
flesh that out as much as possible, even more so, because that for me is my thing that kind of separates Gears. They were the original of that
yeah,
mode, right? Everybody
yep,
tried to make copycats of different kinds of games that have different versions and stuff since then. But like that's one of the special things about Gears is horde mode, and like really go all in on that and flesh it out. Because PvE, there's not enough great multiplayer PvE games out there.
No, no, I agree. Even if they did a PvE VP mode too, right? I would be down with them trying something like that. I think there's a couple things they could do. They got to still have the classic in there, but at the same time, I think that you're right. They could certainly expand horde mode, and then maybe throw in another mode or two that makes sense. Don't try to shoehorn anything in, but just try some new stuff. I mean, I never have a problem with experimenting and see if something catches on. But yeah, no, Gears 6, definitely interested. Hopefully this is the year we get it teased. Again, it makes a lot of sense if they are, a couple years out still. They tease it this year, next gen launch, perfect game to launch with. It could be absolutely incredible on next gen console. Could be absolutely mind blowing on next gen console, like a showpiece out the gate. That would be massive. So I think it's all kind of lining up for that, anyways. So yeah, great conversation there.
Expectations are going to be huge.
Oh, they are. They're going to be huge. And the nice part, though, is there is a lot of people who say Gears doesn't even have to be around. So some of the expectations after all this time might have kind of mellowed out a little bit, too. So as long as Coalition comes in and blows people, what they're going to do with UE5, graphically, it's going to come out as a showpiece, a bar setter, much like Hellblade 2. The rest is going to fall into place for Coalition, as long as they finish the story right. Again, there's a lot of ways they could do it. We'll see what. All right. Let's see where we shall go next. Should we get into Hellblade 2? We might as well talk about UE5 here. Let's get into Hellblade 2. Where to begin on this one, Mav? Holy shit. We got the community upset again at Xbox's lack of marketing for a new game, or perception-wise of lack of marketing. I saw people earlier this week starting in on that, and last week talking about what are they doing? Hellblade 2 is launching in a month. Where's the marketing? Much like we saw with Starfield, even though we all said didn't need that type of marketing, but whatever. So people started in on the Xbox marketing team for Hellblade 2, and then lo and behold, Mav, well, guess what they were doing? This is part of marketing in video games for anybody who hasn't realized this or hasn't paid attention over the decades. Part of the marketing is getting previews to the big media sites. They let the big media sites do some of the heavy lifting prior to launch. So they give them previews. They let them see and play around with the game right around this time to it going gold and getting out in the hands of customers. And all of a sudden you get all these big articles, which we got today, Matt, previews of Hellblade 2, where people got hands-on time with the first big first-party game of 2024, obviously from Ninja Theory, from Xbox. We also got word that the director, what is his name again, Mav? Teeman?
I think something like that, yeah.
Oh God, I forget his freaking name now. God dang it. Hold on, let me look it up. I had it ready and then I lost it.
Yeah, I'm trying to Hellblade 2 director.
Everybody was going all in on this too. Oh, come on. How can it not find anything? Are you serious right now? Let me go Ninja Theory.
Tamim. Antoniadis?
Yes.
Yeah, Tamim.
Okay. Tamim. Okay, thank you. Yes. He is one of the co-founders. He was probably the most well-publicized co-founder. He has been very outspoken in this industry. Actually, when I was looking at his stuff earlier today, because this community likes to run with nonsense too. And this community was trying to say that he left a long time ago and that he had talked about it. I went looking through all of the interviews with him, Mav. No joke. I know I couldn't remember his name, but I legitimately did this at work today. I took like 20 minutes and I went through all the old articles of his and interviews with him, trying to see if there was somewhere that he would mention that he was leaving the studio. There is none of that. So where the community got this idea outside of the fact that he is a party animal and that he is very eccentric, let's put it that way. And he has a whole lot of interest outside of gaming, mostly partying. That's all I could find on this dude. Like, he is a creative through and through. But in fact, going through and doing research today in my limited time, his Instagram, he had a post about them showing off Hellblade 2 at the Game Awards, Mav. And he said, we showed off more of Hellblade 2. So he said, we.
Yeah.
So this idea that he was gone long ago, I don't know where this started.
That post?
December 2023.
Okay.
On Instagram.
A few months ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When they did the whole live,
Yeah.
The band that did the live performance. He posted it on his Instagram and said, we just showed off more Hellblade 2 at the Game Award. So it seems like he was still involved. Now, again, whether or not he was actually around or partying, well, okay. Looking at his Instagram posts, he was definitely doing a lot of partying. So maybe he hasn't been at this studio hands-on for quite a while, ever since, Microsoft paid $120 million for a studio or whatever. But this is what happens in this community. Things get running out. So anyways, so all that happened today, Matt. Well, then the previews drop, right? And let me tell you too, you want to read some interesting interviews, go read this guy. This guy, people want to make big deal out of him leaving too. Again, anybody who gets paid and gets bought out, if they want to go retire or go enjoy their lives, I'm all for it. Again, this overreaction to all these higher ups from acquisitions leaving, it's very strange to me. Anyways,
just don't believe Todd Howard, please.
But go read. Yeah, right. I know. I don't want God to ever leave. But anyways, but go read his interviews. This man did not enjoy the games industry. Okay, go read his. There's some from 2022. He did not enjoy the business of the games industry. He enjoyed the hell out of the creative side, but he struggled in this industry. Their games struggled to get made, going all the way back to Enslaved and stuff. Like, he had a hard time in this industry making it happen from a money standpoint. And they were always on the cusp. So he never enjoyed that at all. So the fact that this dude likes to party, likes to get out there and do crazy stuff, and just got paid, yeah, it makes sense that he's probably going to leave. So anyways, I'll leave it there. Matt, have you got anything to say about him leaving? I don't really.
No, the game's almost out. So
yeah,
it's not like it's had a big impact on the development of the game or anything. It may just wanted to kind of see this game to close to the finish line, and then he did, and now he's gone to have fun, or whatever he wants to do.
He already was.
I don't know,
having fun. Don't worry about that.
I think I'm more interested in the game,
Yeah.
Don't care. It's not a name that we even knew, like.
Well, this is the gentleman who got Devil May Cry fans in an uproar because he's the one who said the old Dante wasn't any good. Like,
I will admit, but like, I loved DMC. Like, I really did. Yeah,
I did. Did I like the older ones too? Yes, absolutely. So this guy has been very outspoken. He has been very brash in his assessment of things in the games industry and what he's been through. He was never long for this industry. Okay. He wasn't, and he's put a lot of time in to get where he was. He got paid. He left. Cool. That's fine. Great. He didn't even know how to write games for a long time.
Yeah.
He had to learn how to write. So again, this gentleman is very creative, but just an eccentric, and it just wasn't built for this. I don't think, from reading the interviews I did today, and I went back, I read a lot of his early interviews too. Anyway, so that all happened today, Mav, and then we got the previews to drop. And let me just run through. I'm not going to read the previews per se. Aaron Greenberg was out in force today on X. He was posting quotes from all the previews about Hellblade 2. So I'm just going to read some of the quotes, some of the big quotes that Aaron pulled out. So from IGN, Hellblade 2 is undeniably one of the most graphically impressive games I have ever played. And their headline is, here's how extensive real-life experiences, cutting-edge technology, and Unreal Engine 5 combined to build Hellblade's 2 world. And then Aaron posted, quote, all told, my hands-on time with Senua's saga could only have lasted 45 minutes at most. but the sensory experience lingered throughout the rest of the day. This is undoubtedly thanks to Ninja Theory's unwavering commitment to realism across all elements of game development. And that was from PC Games N, who did theirs, and their headline was, in our Hellblade 2 preview, we go hands-on with Senua Saga as Ninja Theory unveils how the studio goes beyond realism for realism's sake. And then Aaron posted, quote, not only is it fluid and responsive action adventure game boasting best-in-class visual fidelity, but it's also an experience with something meaningful to convey. That was from Games Radar. And their tagline for their post was, 6 years after its acquisition, Ninja Theory is ready to set a new standard for Xbox Series X exclusive with Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Then Aaron posted, quote, it may be a sequel, but it feels like the start of something like a true next-gen experience should. And that was from Polygon. That was, and their tagline was, 3 years in, Hellblade 2 on Xbox Series X finally gives us a next-gen moment. And let's see here. Oh, another one. Quote, truly, May cannot come soon enough. I can't remember the last time a game preview left me so excited to dive into the full experience. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 is set to launch for Xbox Series X and PC on May 21st and will be available day one in Game Pass. That was from GameSpot, whose tagline was, Senua Saga Hellblade 2 combat looks beautiful and feels badass. Aaron also had another one from IGN. It's all shaping up to be another riveting, haunting, and uncompromisingly immersive nightmare of both Senua's and Ninja Theory's creation, and one I cannot wait to both enter and escape later this year. That was another one from him as well that he posted. So obviously you guys get kind of the sentiment from all the previews. I know some people, shout out to Boom if he's still listening, were posted that they were shocked that it was getting this type of previews, that so many people were raving about it. But it's not surprising to me, at least, because this is something we've covered Hellblade,
bar, right? Like,
yeah, bro, this is like, we knew this from the beginning. And we'll get into the 30 frames thing here after this. I want to talk about the great previews first, and then we'll get into that. But none of what the previews are saying, from the time and effort that we knew Ninja Theory has been putting in, whether it was seeing all the motion, and again, we saw a lot of behind the scenes. We saw more behind the scenes of Hellblade 2 than probably any game in history, through all the times they've shown us. The time and effort put into capturing the environment, right? We saw that when they took us to Iceland on a National Geographic tour. To them making actual, having the costumes made by hand in the way that they would have been made during Senua's time period. In fact, going so far as to burning them, right, with fire to capture how the actual material is affected on the clothing, and then obviously having the actors wear the clothing and motion capturing in them, from the 2 years plus of fighting training that they did to get the combat right. And now we hear in these previews, also included was that the combat itself is motion capture. It's not animated. So all of the combat that you see, which we found out through the previews, is they confirmed one-on-one stuff, is actual motion capture. That's why it looks so damn good. And even us not having the controllers in our hands, I guess for me personally, and I think Mav, you agreed, when we saw, the latest gameplay and they showed off the combat for the first time over the past couple of showings, like you could feel it.
Yeah.
Like everything looked like, oh my God, like when she slit dude's neck or she chopped him in the head, like all of that was like, oh, wow, you could feel it even though we weren't playing it. And so I think we knew from all of this stuff that we've learned over the years from Ninja Theory themselves that this game was on another level. And of course, we saw plenty. We did see in-game footage to the point where Keeley, at the first time we saw the gameplay, had to announce that what you're about to see is not CGI. This is not anything fake. This is legit the game. He had to make that disclosure ahead of time because he knew what the discourse was going to be. And of course, it showed off great. So we knew this bar was going to be set. Some of the other previews mentioned Mav, ambitious narrative, best in class visual fidelity, fight animations fully mocapped, all fights will be one-on-one, fluid and responsive, sensory overload, environmental puzzles return, which they said are going to be the classic Hellblade puzzles. So if you guys didn't like finding the symbols and lining them up, it sounds like there's going to be more of that. So get ready. Don't expect anything different. This is still Hellblade, everybody. So that's going to be the same. There is going to be a photo mode. This guy's happy. Photo mode included. Let's go. 30 FPS, which again, we'll talk about after this. Team is around 80 people. That was from Okami. Mav, again, the previews just kind of reflected what we knew all along was going to be kind of general sentiment when it came out, right? That this was going to be. Now, again, it's different. They did get some hands-on. Some of these places got to play for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. They all said it was great. The combat felt great, fluid. Some people's compared it to Dragon's Lair in a way. I was like, if you guys remember Dragon's Lair Arcade, you weren't really controlling the character. Like you were hitting buttons to prompt him to do something. So I'm hoping that they're just saying how smooth it was, because of course that was like watching a cartoon on Saturday morning if you play Dragon's Lair. So I'm assuming that's what they meant, but I was like, ooh, that one was, I was like, I don't know if I would necessarily want to hear that. But Matt, what did you think about the previews? Again, we'll get into 30 frame stuff, but what did you think about the previews and what Ninja Theory seems to have built here, even as a shorter experience? Not full priced, again, pricing it fairly according to the hours, but a lot of people did come out of this preview and say, hey, a lot of companies would have charged $70 for this type of quality. This is new bar setting here. This is Unreal Engine 5 Unleashed. This is what we expected out of next gen consoles. Like, this is now the best game I've ever seen, or probably the best game visually I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, all these confirmations. What do you think about the previews, Mavin? Are you more excited? Are you the same? Where are you at with this one?
Kind of reinforced my thought that I was having before when we started talking about Hellblade 2 a couple weeks ago. I think this game actually has a chance to be a big time mover in IP that really takes off with this game. And seeing this kind of reaction now from the previews and the wordage that's being used, knowing it's still like made by an Xbox studio, like it's hard for a lot of these publications to say these words when it comes to Xbox games, So yeah, you know it has to be something that has to be blowing their fucking minds, right? To say some of this stuff, So when you see this and it's more like universal across the board, a lot of the same stuff, it's like, okay, all these people saw something that they were like, wow, and that has me excited. I had a feeling that's what this game was going to be from the get-go. Set the bar, set the standard for graphics and all that kind of stuff. And we talked a couple weeks ago when we're kind of bringing up on, I think it was on Ultimate, about how this is going to kind of set the set the bar, but also kind of launch this like this year for Xbox, and going forward it's going to be like a set the tone for it. At the time I was thinking about it, and because this is launching day and date on PC as well, right? I feel like the price point plus the fact that it's launching on PC means this, and it's also going to be one of the most graphically impressive games that's ever existed, right? You combine the PC day one, price point, insane graphics people have never seen. I think you have a recipe right there with those three things to make this game fucking huge on Steam and the PC market, and also it'll be on Game Pass for PC as well. But on Xbox consoles as well. But I think that because of that, the day and date to PC plus this, I think this game has a chance to ascend to another level, to a top tier franchise, and I think you're going to potentially see that situation where people are talking about the amount of players in this game, and like being surprised by how well it's selling and doing all this stuff. I think this is going to be an Xbox franchise now that does fucking numbers, right? A lot of numbers, and I think it's because of that combination of things. And if it comes out and it's reviewing in the 90s as well, which the previews allude to the fact that that's maybe a possibility here. You could have a potential Game of the Year candidate, mixed with a good price point, something that people feel like they can play and get through, right? And I think the price point is going to be easy for people to palate, to also test their rigs, is going to be that like, wow, look how my PC can play Hellblade 2. Like, look what this can do. You're going to see videos on YouTube, right? Like, you can see videos on YouTube, Hellblade 2 4090 with like fucking this, like all this kind of stuff, right? And people will be touting this and showing it off. You're going to see the photo mode. You're going to see all those shots everywhere. I think this game is, how we always said, like, the exclusive or first party games should be kind of like commercials for what the brand stands for. Like Hellblade 2 has a chance to be something that is a very positive with the mindset of gamers for Xbox. And that, I think, is going to be a very important thing. And it's hard, like I said, it's hard for these game preview people to say, for these games media to say the words about Xbox stuff. Even one, I shot the Black Viking. He posted a clip from one of them that was talking about Xbox, and they were like, "This is crazy. I couldn't believe you actually had a games journalist site. I can't remember which site it was. Actually say this." But they were like, "It's a shame that." Or I can only hope that this game comes to more places, that comes to other places as well, like PlayStation or something like that. So that way, because more people deserve to play this game than just Xbox and PC, right? And I'm like,
it was Gaming Bolt. I'm looking at it right now,
and I'm like, what platform exclusive ever has somebody from a gaming site say that? Do you ever hear a gaming site say, "I hope God of War comes to Xbox"? So
why wouldn't they? They all rated it highly. Why wouldn't they say that thing? Why wouldn't they say that about Last of Us?
Yeah,
why would
they? Yeah, like why? Like, I hope that the Last of Us goes to PlayStation, so that way more people can play it
to Xbox. There's no there's no Xbox tax.
And I think there's also the thought process. It's always a possibility with Xbox now as well. But even if you took that away, I think that argument is that's the only reason they're saying it is bullshit, because people were saying this about Xbox games like well before Xbox put anything these 4 games on PlayStation. They were doing it with Starfield, like ever since Starfield was a thing, like ever since the Xbox bought ZeniMax Bethesda, and it's just like they don't think Xbox deserves to have big time exclusive games, right? And I think once this game comes out there and is established, having it there, like day and date only on Xbox and PC, is good for them, right? If it comes somewhere else later, who the fuck ever knows? But there will at least be a long period of time where people look at it and be like, "Fuck, man." Like they really did something. And I saw somebody put in the chat and a reminder, right? About something Colin Moriarty had said about why did they buy Ninja Theory, right? Like, see those previews, see that attention, see that marketing, see that like that's what they did, and they gave them years to work on this game, right? They gave them a lot of time to work on a short game that's what, like 10 hours, maybe 10, 11
8
hours, something like
hours,
that.
maybe 8 hours. Some
It
people
took me
say.
10 hours to beat the first Hellblade. They
Yeah,
said it's like 2 hours longer than that one. I think it just depends on the gamer, you know.
it does.
Like somebody like
It does.
Jasper would have probably beaten Hellblade 1 in like 5 hours, you know,
Oh yeah,
or
for sure.
less. You know, me
Right.
a lot longer, right? So I just think this game is going to be something special that people will be talking about for a long time, just like we do still the first Hellblade, right? This is going to set the bar. Remember the Somniac leaks? They were saying to achieve a level like Hellblade 2, it would take this much or something like that. You know, I I think this is just going to be kind of what people strive for to look like as far as games go. But also the other comments on like the way the game feels and all that kind of stuff is like an improvement in those areas is going to do wonders because that's all important for immersion, right? But we're not. We will play Hellblade 2 and we will look at it and be like, we've never experienced graphics like that before. That's
Right.
what I feel.
Yeah, no, I said it from the beginning. The minute that they first showed it, I said that this was going to be the game that set the bar, and I thought that this would be the game that puts Ninja Theory permanently on the map for a
Yeah.
wider audience. So I don't disagree with you as far as the standpoint what you were talking about as sales go, and that showpiece title that everybody's got to try and got to play with the price point, with the time investment being short. I definitely think now, does it have staying power? Okay, well that's the big question because you're not, most people aren't going to return to this game multiple times. So there's not going to be any of that. But up front, with that purchase, again, that price point, both on console and PC, is going to be very favorable, and it was a very smart move on their part to do that. So I do think this gets the big audience, man. I do think this is the one that everybody has to try at least once, right? This is that requirement. Like, okay, you got to play Hellblade 2. You got access to it. You got to play this game. You got to see it for yourself. Videos don't do this thing justice. You got to have it on your OLED. You got to have it on your, you got to have it on your monitor. You got to see what this is actually all about. So I do think that's going to definitely happen. And I think that's not surprising, or wouldn't be surprising to me if this is the case. And again, as far as a tone setter goes, is to be the first one out the gate this year in May, after not having a first party title for a while. This is fantastic. And I think this is going to live up. Again, for me, Hellblade 1, I'm about 80% of the way through. I got to go back and finish it. I'm going to go finish it. Again, I have to take breaks because of the voices. I, play with headphones on, and I have to take breaks every 30 to 45 minutes because it starts messing with me. It was that kind of visceral experience, and this one is even more so. I've watched a couple of the previews in 4K with my headphones on, and the voices in this one are even, oh my God, even more so. And the way that they've got the sound processing in this one is absolutely incredible. And that is one of the big things about this game. You can do it without headphones, but you're doing a disservice to yourself unless you've got a really high-end surround sound system in your house that you can turn up. Play this game with headphones. They do so much work from the sound side of things. You are missing a big part of the game. A big part of the game is what the environment is telling you through the whispers and what is going on to Senua, obviously through her psychosis and how she's experiencing it. Couple more fun facts from Shinobi today too. He pulled out of the previews. Senua is traveling to Iceland to hunt down the Vikings that destroyed her home in the first game. Otherworldly creatures like Draugr and giants roam the land. Combat is similar to the first game, but the impact of hits feels heavier. Fights are 100% mocap, which we talked about before. Parry window appears to be less forgiving this time around. It scares me too. But anyways, increased variety of enemy types plus attack animations for Senua. New ability, a handheld mirror that can temporarily slow down enemies to land combos. So that's a new one. Puzzles are largely familiar, like I told you guys about. There are secrets hidden in the environment that can be discovered, and quieter moments where you can check in on allies. So, big day of previews. And again, this is a large part of the marketing. This has now gotten the word out to the masses. The people go to the IGNs and all these other sites for their news, for their video games, latest and greatest. they're going to be seeing these quotes that I read to you guys from Aaron Greenberg. They're going to be seeing that this is a game that people are saying, and let's be real, for some people, this is what it's all about. Graphically is the best that they've ever seen. This is going to draw eyes to this game. This is automatic marketing win here for these previews. Because the previews came out the way they did, this is what it's about. Now Xbox can go ahead and do their regular marketing follow-up with all of these quotes in place from the preview, which we all see them do, after the game launches, or, it's the scores that everybody puts up. But right now they can launch a bunch of ads and have some of these quotes in there. Like, this is now the process that we talk about where they ramp up. So I think the lead up to May, we're going to, sorry about that. We're going to see more and more of this. Hellblade 2 being shown off. So, outstanding day for Ninja Theory, outstanding day for, the overall impression that this game is already making on people that get the word out. So that's the important thing here. Now, Mav, let's talk about the other side. We haven't really had one. Well, I guess we had this discussion a little bit about Dragon's Dogma 2. But we haven't had a kerfuffle like this over 30 FPS. It seems like everybody, Mav, was just sitting around with the posts locked up, ready to rock and roll, locked and loaded for the day that it was officially announced that Hellblade 2 would be locked to 30 frames on console, on Series X and Series S. There's going to be a dynamic resolution 30 frames, so it's not going to be like 4K 30. It's going to be dynamic. I mean, listen, I don't know, Mav. This stuff, like, you and I are on record, and we'll re-mention it here again, that in 2024, that every single dev should have at least 2 options for console. We're not asking for the PC level of control, but we're asking for 2 options, right? A performance mode and a quality mode. That's it. That's all we've asked for. If you can't lock the 60, make it unlock frame rate. Let the people of VRR decide, just like Capcom did with Dragon's Dogma 2. Let the people decide how they want to play the game. But 2 modes should be included in every game on console nowadays. I don't think that's a whole lot to ask. Again, we've talked to people like 3-Bit who are actual devs in this industry, and he agrees that they could do that. It's just quite obvious at this point, now that we're this far into this generation, that the consoles with some of these engines, with some of these games, are just overmatched. Like, the consoles are $500 budget gaming machines. They aren't, $1,500 and up PCs that can simply just easily run these games at 60 frames. I think we've learned this lesson now. I don't think this should be shocking.
Some of these games are coming out now that push the boundaries of even the top end PCs of being able to do that, Like Dragon's Dogma 2, like, you're struggling to hit 60 still, like, on a top end PC a lot of times. So
yeah, this is the first that was the first game I turned on FSR, right? I turned on FSR 3. I run it with, I'm locked at 60, I'm easy 60. And it looks beautiful. FSR 3 actually looks really good. There's a couple times where it gets a little bit funky, but otherwise it looks great. That's why I don't mind it. But yeah, no, Mav, you're right. So I just think the realization is that this is something that has happened. Now, again, do I think the devs could do some extra work and include a performance mode? I do. But as we found out, a lot of the devs aren't even willing to do that. A lot of the devs and publishers aren't going to put more time and resources into these games for console players to give them an option. We've seen this time and time again as well. So I will continue to give the dev smoke for not giving the option. Again, I've been critical of them since day one on this shit. Obviously, Xbox and PlayStation, the way that they sold these consoles as that they, had enough power to hit 60 frames, right? 4K, all that kind of stuff. It's all marketing speak, as most of us as adults should know now. It's just marketing speak, but that really came true. That sure, it does happen. There are plenty of games that are really doing that. Call of Duty can freaking run at 120 frames, for God's sakes, man. So there's plenty of games that do this, but for a lot of devs, it just isn't in the cards for the console players. But obviously, the uproar today, man, of course, console wars on fire. We got Xbox people pissed off again that this first party game is only going to be 30 frames on series consoles. Like that's the one thing that is going to be mentioned, obviously, from the reviewers. I can guarantee it. They forget about that. They forgive certain games, but I'm sure because it's Xbox first party, and because it's Hellblade 2, they're not going to forgive it. They're going to mention it that on console it's a 30 frames experience. It's a slower experience, so maybe 30 frames is fine. Maybe it's a great 30 frames like Starfield. But the facts are the facts, man. 30 frames is still a topic today.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell people at this point. I don't know why people get. I do understand because a lot of games, even me, who again doesn't mind 30 frames, I still play on my 360 from time to time. Like I don't mind 30 frames, but I played a game like Gotham Knights and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Well, but on
30
PC,
frames.
it's fantastic, you know?
Right.
Like,
and again, I'm playing Dragon's Dogma 2 on PC for the 60 frames. I just think, I mean, I don't even know where to go with this, man, because I get so tired of this shit sometimes, man. People are so overboard on both sides when it comes to flat out attacking the game for the 30 frames. And then, the other side say, oh, it's fine. 30 frames. You can't even tell the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames. It's all bullshit. Just enjoy your fucking games. Just enjoy your games. You should enjoy all games, no matter what frames. Who cares? Who cares? Look at how great this is. That's not right either. Okay. That's not, because there is a difference, and part of the game experience is how the game feels. So again, if the 30 versus 60 does bother somebody, you can't discredit them and say it shouldn't bother you. It does. Like I said, even for somebody who doesn't mind it, I still feel it in certain games. But they tried to take some shine off. The console warriors tried to take some shine off Hellblade 2 today, but with this, honestly, personally, for me, again, I will criticize. I think there should be 2 modes. But overall, the game showed so well. The previews were such high watermarks from across the board. Like you said, a wide-ranging amount of sites got a hold of and got to see this game and play this game that I have. Again, it doesn't bother me. Yes, I will be playing this on PC for sure, of course. I also, real quick, Mav, and I'll turn it over to you. If you're one of these devs who cannot get their games to run above 30 frames on, or you just didn't have the time or the resources to do it, stop with the bullshit cinematic excuse.
Yeah.
Stop telling me your vision for the game is 30 frames when you have it unlocked on PC. Do not tell me that garbage, because if that truly, and again, me and Steel have had this back and forth about this too, because Steel will say, well, they locked it on PC, somebody would mod it out anyways, so they just don't do it on PC because they know the PC players aren't going to put up with it. But my point is, if it's your vision, lock it, let somebody unlock it through a mod and make people make that decision. But if your true vision for the game is 30 frames and you're trying to tell me that, oh, Hellblade 2 should be a more cinematic experience like the movies, but then PC gets all the options and they get whatever frames their PC can push, that's a bunch of hogwash, okay? And you're lying to my face. Just come out and say, we didn't have the budget, we didn't have the time, we didn't have the resources, or the consoles we couldn't get it done with Unreal Engine 5.
Care enough to put a mode on
we just
the
didn't care enough.
Yeah.
Right. Or we just didn't care enough. But don't give me the cinematic line. We're past that point a long time ago with that bullshit. Okay? We're past it. If you love playing these games in 4K 30 or dynamic 30, and that's how you enjoy these games, I'm not going to argue with you and tell you you're lying. I'm not going to ever do that. But don't tell me that the devs truly wanted it at only 30 frames on the console because that's the real experience. Meanwhile, PC players can do whatever they can afford. No. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Anyways, that's where I'll leave it. Mav, what do you think about the 30 frames? I've spoken enough. 30 frames, brother. We're back again. Community's in flames. People are saying it's trash. People are saying it's not worth it. People are saying, oh, PS5, this would be 60 frames. People are blaming Xbox. Phil and Matt Booty for not pushing their devs. People are blaming Greenberg for ever stating that 60 was going to be the standard when obviously we know what he meant there. That they should mandate this stuff. We've got people saying that 30 frames is perfectly fine, and anybody who criticizes anything about frames is lying to themselves. They're not true gamers, and they should probably go find a new hobby because you just play the games as they are. You don't bitch and whine about the frames at all. Ever. That's what the devs wanted. That's what we get. Eat it. What do you think?
I think there's so many people that have a strong opinion about this, and everybody's like, it's all like everybody's just like one mind. Like it's like I saw Shane G say just get a PC, or like that he was saying that like if people expect consoles to be like a 4090, right? I see people say like, oh, I can't tell the difference. It doesn't matter to me, right? Who cares, right? And then, like you said, then you see people say like, I can't like ever play anything that's not 60 or like it. I feel like people are missing the bigger picture of what our argument has been for this for a long time. Okay. There's a lot of gamers that just prefer to play on console, right? And I think as a consumer, we should advocate for more options for the console player. It's proven that it's possible because lots of games, even high-end and very graphically detailed games, or very ambitious games, or very big level scoped games, have these options if the developers put them in, right? Sometimes the game comes out, Starfield, Hellblade 2, where they tell the console player you don't get any options. That's where I have an issue. I understand that a console is not going to run Hellblade 2 as well as a high-end PC. I understand that in a performance mode on a console, the resolution may be pretty weird. There'd be less fidelity settings jacked up. The game wouldn't look anywhere near as good as it does in 30, right? But there's some people that would still rather play the 60 frames experience and sacrifice the fidelity, just as a personal choice to them, because that's how they prefer to play, right? And I feel like the developers, because they do this with other games, they do it on PC as well for every fucking game, should give the console players at least 2 options. And if they tell me they can't, then they built their game very badly from the get-go with the wrong mindset, right? So I just think it should be a priority. There's a lot of people that have an issue with 30 now because 60 has become the standard for them. I am going to be playing Hellblade 2 on PC. It is one of the reasons I got the PC. I got it, like I said before, for Starfield, because I didn't want to play Starfield at 30. I still ended up playing quite a bit of Starfield at 30. Like, I think it's an overall good experience on my consoles as well. But I wanted to experience, when I want that, like, a full, like, balls to the wall experience on a game that I care about like that, I don't want to be stuck without those options, right? So yeah, you can get a PC and that, but I don't want to feel like I have to if I just don't want to play at 30, right? I would like the option on consoles. And I think there's nothing wrong with consumers asking for the developers and the publishers to have options for console players. It doesn't have to be every option that PC players get. It doesn't have to be everything that they get. At least 2 options, at least a performance mode and a regular mode, right? Or an uncapped mode and a regular mode, or because they can tinker with stuff especially in a more linear type experience game like Hellblade 2 to make it possible if it was something that they wanted to do, but they just don't want to, and that's why they didn't do it. They maybe like they didn't want to take the time to do it. They didn't want to use the resources to do it. They felt like console players don't really care that too much to begin with, so it's not going to matter. I don't know, but for me, I just am sick of console players getting fucked with this kind of stuff, right? I want to see console players get those options because that, as a consumer, is better for us. It's not about the game is shit. It's not about the game is poorly optimized. In fact, I would say make an argument that it's a sign of the ambition of these games that it obviously is just not easy to just do a 60 mode or whatever, right? I think that the games sometimes I think sometimes we've seen these games like Starfield and Hellblade 2. Nobody's going to tell me that those games aren't crazy ambitious with what they're trying to do, right? One is more of a graphical masterpiece, kind of immersive experience. One is a completely open, emergent space game where you go all these different planets and all this other kind of shit. I understand the ambition between those games is difficult, right? That may be some of the reasons why, because they're really pushing the boundaries. But you can give the options. And I feel like that's something that they should do, right? Am I mad at them, or am I like everybody should not play Hellblade 2 or any of this stuff? No, like I just think that it's something that they should do for the players and for the people that want it. It's not saying you have to play at 60. It's not saying you have to play at 30. If you choose 30 frames every time because that's your preferred thing, then you do that because that's the best experience for you. And if other people want the other experience, I want them to have the ability to do that as well, even if the fidelity isn't up there like the 30 frames mode. Because to some people, a lower fidelity game still looks better in motion at 60 as opposed to 30. And there's certain games that I could make the case for that, right? Like 60, for me in some games, in the performance mode, looks better than the 30 mode because you're playing at a certain pace or whatever, you know? And I think that Hellblade 2 ultimately is going to be a masterpiece type game. The games media ultimately doesn't really care about the whole frames per second shit. They have made that clear for a long time now. And I don't think it's really going to affect the scores too much. I think the game's going to shine its best and have the best experience on PC, like as it should, because PCs are the most powerful machines out there for gaming. But just give us the option. Like,
yep,
that's all we want.
Agreed. And again, it's that gave the smoke to Redfall for it. Again, that was a first-person shooter.
Yeah,
that does make a difference in that game. Like that.
That one was the most ridiculous. You know?
It was egregious.
Yeah,
it
and
was
you're talking about egregious. Three exclusive games in 2 years now. Yeah. Right? 3 of the big exclusives. I mean, you're talking about 3 of the out of the 4 biggest launches in a row. You put Forza Motorsport in there as well, right? 3 out of 4 at 30. You know, it's just without the other options at launch. I know they added it to Redfall later, which is a much better experience for me. Right?
Yes.
It's just not a good look, you know, for Xbox. When PlayStation, the competition, has very graphically appealing games that have come out this generation, ambitious games as well, that do have 3 options usually. Right? They usually have the fidelity mode, they have the performance ray tracing mode, and then they have like the just standard performance mode. Right? And to see those options, I respect that. That's something I actually like about those PlayStation exclusives. Like, hey, that's cool that I can choose. Sometimes I don't know which one I like the most. You know what I mean? But I like having the option. I really do like having the option. And it's just not having these 3 different developers at launch now. or the 3 of the big exclusives that come out in the last 2 years now, or within the last year, I guess, really. I know it was like a little over a year ago when Redfall came out. To not launch with more than 30 frames option is kind of shitty, in my opinion.
Yes.
And that's why I'm glad I have a PC.
No, absolutely. And again, we are too lucky enough to have the higher end PC, so we do get that experience now, and it's different. And again, I've always kept that in perspective as a console player that's been a console player for decades now. Like I still have that perspective. I played a ton of Starfield on my console, my Series X. In fact, over half my time was on the Series X versus my PC. Obviously, Dragon's Dogma 2 has all been on my PC, but again, it's not a matter of just flat out saying the devs, that it's not. Again, people always think you're asking for every single option the PC have, and that's not the case. There are people who play games differently, and I see people at a time, that say, well, I would never play it that way. I would never expect this. All that kind of stuff. That's okay for you, and that's fine. Again, if you're okay, that's your experience. Again, I'm not going to argue with you, but there are another group of players who certainly do feel a difference, who would choose a different mode, even if it meant the visuals weren't as good. They would bring that down. And it happens on PC. It happens on PC all the damn time. PC players will sacrifice fidelity to get the frame, right? And again, I'm not asking for all those options. Just give me 2 and let me decide which one as a console player I prefer over the other ones. There are people playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the performance mode, even though some people say it looks muddy as shit. There's still people out there enjoying the hell out of that game with the extra frames, right? So again, it's up to the individual player. And I think as a consumer, if the options are available, and we do know, because lots of devs do give it nowadays, that we just wish that all devs would just give us the option to play the game. I gave the same smoke to God Howard and the team at Bethesda. Bethesda are my favorite devs of all time. When I talked about Starfield, I said it was bullshit that Todd came out during the whole preview and said, well, we had the game. There was certainly times it ran at 60 or above, but we just didn't feel like it was a stable experience. Todd, lots of games come out that way nowadays. Just throw the performance mode in there and just explain, hey, your best experience is going to be the cinematic one at 30 frames, but we gave you an unlocked mode for you people with VRR. If you guys want to give it a try, and if it's, that's your bag, then go for it. Then why not do that? Again, PC players have a billion options of how they want to play their game. Well, they're just asking for 2. And like Mavs always pointed out, the other great part, and again, Ninja Theory did go back and did put in modes, I believe, on the original one, right? So they have done that previous
update.
Yeah. We got the Series X update. So maybe they'll go back and do this after launch. So again, Ninja Theory is one of those teams that has done it in the past where they've gone back. But to your point, Matt, that you always bring up, it's also future-proofing that game. Yeah. So games like Red Dead Redemption 2, if that had an unlocked frame mode in it right now, we might be playing at 60 frames on the series consoles, right? Now, Rockstar might have done that on purpose because, Take-Two wants to eventually put out a updated version, but that hasn't happened all these years. But that would have made it so that the players with the new hardware on console could have gotten a better experience automatically because the game was already unlocked. We saw that with a bunch of the backwards compatibility where Jason Ronald and his team didn't have to do anything because the games were already uncapped.
Yeah, EA even on the specifically went back and actually unlocked a bunch of the frame rates on their games. Yes. And the same Ubisoft did something similar as well. And like it was nice. Okay, like I can go back and just play these older games now, like, and they're like unlocked and they play better than they ever have before. Fucking love that, man. Like Ubisoft did it with Assassin's Creed Unity, right? As well. Like there's
and now it's a brand new game for people.
Right. Yes. There's
amazing.
It's great when you have new hardware in the future and you can have better experiences of your game, of your library. It adds value to the hardware, right? It adds value for things you bought a long time ago. Like I went back and played some of these games, and like FPS boost was something that made me enjoy certain games. Like when I played Far Cry for the first time at 60, I was like, oh
Yes.
my
Oh,
God, this is a fucking different
first person
experience.
shooter. That's
Yeah, I was
right.
like, holy
Yeah.
shit. Like open
Yeah.
world first person shooter at 60 now.
Yep.
Like
Yes.
the first time I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, my immediate take on that game was not about like anything else, but it was like, holy shit, this is smooth. Like, well,
Yes.
like, wow, this feels good. I've never played a game that is like open like this, that
Yeah.
feels like this. It feels like smooth, like a Call of Duty type thing or something, but you're fucking in a
Mhm.
huge open world. My mind was fucking blown because I was playing on a console and I finally understood. Like when I felt these things and I was like, I finally understood. It's like, this is what the fucking PC players have been talking about all that damn time. I've been arguing like for a long time. I didn't care, whatever. You know, I was making those same points. But when I had those experiences, I was like, oh shit, this is different, man. And it was to some of these franchises that I loved when I was so familiar with the experience that I'd had for so long. And then now I get to see it and feel it in this other way. And I'm like, oh man, oh, this is like amazing, you know? So
Correct.
yeah, I became a 60 frame snob because of
Mhm.
this, right?
You did. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love when I see these games at 60 frames because or there's an option for it because I know the gameplay feel, which is the most
Mhm.
important thing. And people always say gameplay is the most important thing. Gameplay is the most important thing. It's not graphics. I hear people talking about that with Hellblade in the chat on this show when we're talking about Hellblade, how the graphics are going to set the benchmark and all that stuff. And some of the same people were talking about, oh, 30 frames is good. Well, if the gameplay is the most important thing and the feeling of the game is the most important thing, then like an option to play it in that way would make sense, right? Even if you are sacrificing fidelity. And it doesn't always have to be a crazy resolution jump, right? There's a lot of other things that they can do, like on a PC when you're like checking the benchmarks and stuff. And I do it with Forza more than anything. I play with stuff to kind of see like what affects the performance and to get the best experience on my PC. Like there's other things like fidelity wise that they can tone down or do and that may not be as drastic to the consumer, to the user, that would still like give you a good looking experience but have you give the option to be able to do like a 60, but they have to go put in the work to
Yes.
figure that out, set it up, you know, make sure it's optimized well and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's going to be a smooth 30, right? We hear that all the time. I'm sure it's going to be a great experience at 30. But it just as a consumer now that has understood like what I like about 60 and the feeling that
Yeah.
it gives me, I want the option because there's certain games and certain times that I would rather play lower resolution and smooth. And I'm not even saying Hellblade would be that game. I would have to test it and see which experience I like
Right.
better when playing it, you
Right.
know? But I know I don't have to worry about that on PC, you know?
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to have a PC to have the option of just
No.
two options. You shouldn't have to with these developers making these games for the PC consumer and also for the console user. There's enough space, there's enough headroom in these consoles to have two options, right?
Mhm.
I understand
Yes.
one's going to be for some people, one's not going to be for the other, and that's cool. Like I don't care if you like to play at 30 or if you like to play at 60. What I care about is
Right.
that they give us the option to make that choice for ourselves, and instead of using the excuse of like it's our vision, right?
Yes.
Like, well, it's not my vision. I'm the consumer. Like you know, like like I
Well,
give me value. Have one mode for your vision and have one for the 60 frame snob or somebody that would rather play it that way, and that's cool. Um, it's just
yeah.
better for us as gamers when we have those options.
Yeah, and I just think nowadays it should be closer. I mean, again, because the tech is closer. Again, back in the
Yeah.
day, it wasn't. It was a whole lot more work. And again, I'm not saying dev work is easy now, but obviously with the new architecture in the PS5 and the Xbox Series, it is easier on the porting because it is closer to PC. We've talked to actual devs. We've heard actual devs talk about this. It's a lot easier than it used to be. They don't have to always work magic, right? Yes. Is it still work? Of course it is. That's why I say sometimes I think they just don't do it because they got to push it out the door and they just we ran out of resource, we ran out of time, and we just don't want to put the work in to get it done. And that, again, that's a decision you have to make. But I'm going to talk about it in 2024 because I think that even on a $500 console, with the way that it was promoted, with the way that other devs use it, the way that things we've seen, yes, every game's different, every engine's different, etc. I still think that that is a valid request. 2 options for the console.
Yeah.
Just give us the opportunity. And for all the people out, again, I'll just end it here. From my side of things, for all the people, the clown show, you guys who act as if this was a surprise, that this was going to be 30 frames.
We called this a long time ago.
Bro, you guys are intellectually dishonest or willfully ignorant. The minute you saw the visuals and they said UE5, and then you saw the bar they were setting for the visual fidelity in this game, there is no way in hell you thought this was going to come out with 60 frames locked. There is no way in hell you thought this was going to be 4K locked at any point. Like, come on, guys. Now, again, that's where I go, come on. We're still talking about $500 consoles, guys. With what they're trying to push here, that's ridiculous. Like, again, they just don't act surprised that they came out and announced 30 frames as the standard mode. Again, Mav and I aren't saying 60 should be the standard and anything under that is shit. No, we understand the concept that these consoles still aren't great enough. That's why we hope they make an enthusiast console the next go around for the console only players who do want to spend the extra money and can get that kind of performance without having people go, well, you only paid $500. You shouldn't expect it. I hope the next time they do make the consoles $800-900 and people that do want that guaranteed performance down the road can have the option to spend that money and go get that console. Because I think it's important for the future, because gaming is changing and evolving, and PC players have been playing at 60 for a long time. And now console players, to Mav's point, like himself, console only players for the longest time have now experienced 60 frames, and they know the difference, right? That now, again, not everybody, there's some people who still swear on their mother's life that they can't tell the difference. There is scientific proof that some people cannot see the difference. But for those of us that can, you got to give the option down the road, even to the console only players, even as the games get more complex, that there is the possibility that these devs can include at least a couple different modes to give people an option. Again, PC gets the full boat of every single option possible. I get to go into basically like dev mode and play around with the settings and turn in and on off all of these things.
Yeah, you
Some
got
of
like
these lists are incredible.
options for like everything. Like, do I want my shadows at like low,
low, medium, high,
there's like,
ultra?
Yeah, but there's like words even between those, kind of low.
Yeah. Well, and you got the preset, you got the preset modes, and then you got the custom mode where you can go in and do everything. You got the preset modes too. They even set a preset.
There's like 5 different options for FSR, like everything, you know. Like, and I understand consoles aren't gonna be that varied.
No,
you know,
that's not what I'm expecting.
But you can give 2, just 2 options, like performance, fidelity.
Yes,
seems pretty simple, you know.
Anyways. But is it overblown? Of course it's overblown. This game's going to come out. It's going to set the bar in so many different ways. Ninja Theory, again, has in the past gone back and repatched the game. Maybe they'll optimize more. Maybe they'll find something new. Maybe next gen, when the new consoles come out, they will go back and repatch this one and give us that mode. Whatever the case, that doesn't take away from the game at all. This game is getting high marks across the board in the previews. I expected nothing less. I can't wait for day one. Even if I didn't have my PC, I'd still be downloading it on my console. I'm probably going to still download it on my console to play, just like I did with Starfield, because I don't have to buy 2 versions of the game. The beautiful part about the Xbox ecosystem, it's freaking fantastic. But again, tell me, why would you ever buy an Xbox? That's one of the main reasons why. I get 2 versions of the game. I can play it on my PC and I can play it on my Xbox. And it doesn't cost me anything other than my Game Pass monthly subscription cost. But I will try it on Xbox. I will download it and I will play some to know what the console players are experiencing. I do like to do that. And again, with Starfield, I wound up just because it was so convenient, and because again the 30 frames was actually really, really good in Starfield. It didn't bother me more than like 10 minutes and I was used to it. I played over half my almost 400 hours in Starfield on the Xbox because it really didn't bother me that much. Now, when I fire up the PC version, did I go, oh yeah, this is nice. Yes, I did. Of course I did. But again, with Hellblade 2, I'm gonna have it both places. I'm gonna try it both places just to see the experience. And who knows? Maybe I'll just wind up playing on a console if it's that great. Because again, it's gonna be a slower paced game. The only thing that I would say the 60 frames is definitely going to help with is in those combat mode, especially with the parrying. If that's going to be more prominent in this one, that timing, that extra frames do give you better timing.
Yeah.
They do. That's an advantage. That's why when I hear people say, yeah, but casuals don't care about frames. They don't even think about that shit. Bullshit. They all go in and change their Call of Duty to 120 frames if they got an opportunity, because even the casuals understand the advantage that it does give you with the higher frames in combat, right? So yes, some casuals do now care about the frames and they will go make those changes, especially when their buddies are going, are you still playing at 60? You got 120 frames screen. Why aren't you playing at 120? And they're like, oh, I can do that. And then you change it. I know that for a fact because I got a kid who does that with his buddies all the damn time. So again, it's frames are more. It used to be about 4K. It used to be about fidelity. I know devs love fidelity because it shows off their games in the prettiest light possible. But as we move forward, as PCs and consoles get closer together, as more people now have experienced 60 frames and above, it is more important that the devs start looking at the frames and understanding there's a lot of people who do care about frames.
Yeah.
And they will give up fidelity for those frames, just like on PC. And that's why they put it on PC the way they do. Again, that's why they don't lock it down. Again, that's why it's not their vision on PC, because they know the PC players, a large portion of the PC players, are going to give them the middle finger and mod it out anyways. So they just open it up. They should probably do the same again. One more option.
Yeah.
One more. That's all. Anyways.
We got some super chats to get to.
Okay, go ahead.
Hit
him, bro.
Jax82 hit us earlier with a $5 super chat. Said, I don't like PC being my fallback option when I don't get the performance on console when I'm not a PC player. They have to stop this. Unacceptable. That's kind of how I am. I would always rather play it on console, be honest with you. But I'm playing more and more on PC lately because I feel like I'm almost being forced to buy my games on PC or like at times because I don't have those same options, you know?
Right.
Let's see. Jax82 also with a $2 super chat says the Series S always gets dragged when this happens. Yeah, this isn't the Series S's fault. Like
it always will. Again, it's just stupid narratives, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, people be playing on Hellblade 2 on PCs that are lower spec than Series S. It's just true. Alvin with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Alvin. Says John of Digital Foundry was saying a res lowering won't be enough for console 60 for a UE5 game with full ray tracing, global illumination, nanite, and this level of quality. Would have to change the look of the game entirely. Yeah, it's what I was saying. There's other options that you can tone down to put a game at a higher frame rate. It doesn't have to just be resolution.
Some people don't care about global illumination. Some people, again, I've fooled around with it on my PC. There's some games where I don't even notice it, even though I've had it on and I turn it off. I don't even really notice the difference except for very specific moments, right? And again, just give the option and tell the players what you're doing and they can check it out for themselves. And if that's too big of a sacrifice, then they've got the quality mode, right? That's all it is. Just say, hey, this is how we got it to run at above 30 frames. Check it out.
This is how
see
it
if
looks
you like
at
it.
60.
If not, this is how it looks at 60. Would you decide which is the best for you? So, but yeah, no, I totally get it. It's just a lot of that stuff too, though. Even on PC, I look at it and I'm like, it really doesn't do a whole lot. Now, there's been games where I've been like, oh, hell yeah, like Helldivers.
Yeah.
Too, when I turned off like some of the high, when I went to my PS3 settings, I was like, yo, this is not the same game. But again, still looks great. But just give us the option. That's all.
Right. 100%. Like, but
100%.
You would have played, let me ask you, would you have played, let's say on your PC, right? When you're playing Helldivers.
Yeah.
Okay, you had the full graphical bells and whistles, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that the game ran at 30 frames like that, right? You would have went to PS3 mode in a heartbeat to play it at 60, right?
Absolutely, of course. Again, for anybody who doesn't know, Helldivers 2 does still have some issues with AMD drivers and stuff. So it crashes if you turn all the settings up to full max. And so I finally got mad because I don't, it's not convenient. PC gaming is not convenient when it gets to these things. And I was trying to fool around with like a couple settings here and there and trying to see if it would still crash. It kept crashing. So I just turned down everything to medium. I was just like, okay, everything's going down to medium, turned off global illumination, turned off everything. I was like,
difference on that.
Oh, it does. It does. But I was like, screw it, just so I didn't crash. But yes, if it was a frames problem now, of course I would. That's why I did with Dragon's Dogma 2. That's why I turned on FSR, even though I've never used FSR in any of my other games. On this one, because I just wanted a quick, easy way to lock my 60 in, I just turned on FSR 3.0. Now, that meant I could leave everything else on high and ultra, right? But I sacrifice. A lot of people won't use FSR because they hate how it makes the game look. For me, I'd still look crispy as hell. And I have not seen, you guys have seen my screenshots. They look freaking fantastic. But I just did that so that I got the lock 60. That's the only reason why I did it. I was still hovering in the 40s.
Yeah.
I could have done it without FSR and it hovered in the 40s. It dipped a couple times into the 30s. But I wouldn't have been like, again, that doesn't really bother me. But I'm like, well, screw it. I got the PC. I'll just turn on FSR and see what happens. Lock 60 plus. I'm like, yeah, screw it. This looks great. Away I went. But yes, I sacrificed for the frames. And I certainly would on Helldivers 2. Sure.
Yeah.
You need it in Helldivers 2. Jesus, can you imagine playing 30 frame Helldivers 2? Holy shit.
I could not imagine. But that was the world we lived in last generation and the generation before. Yeah. Like, I fucking love playing some of the old games. Like when they're like even games like you wouldn't think it matters that much, like Command and Conquers.
Yes.
You know, like you can play them at 60. The 360 ones on console, you can play them at 60. And even though they're like the resolution is still lower and stuff because like they're older games, man, they fucking feel so good now. And those are RTSs. You know, it shouldn't really matter, but it makes a difference. Yeah.
It does. It does. Overall, again, there's less like tactic style games and all that kind of stuff. 30 frames is fine. It really never can tell, or it never really bothers you that much.
Yeah.
But again, you get the 60 frames, you can go, no, this is a little bit better.
When what taught me this lesson too is like I mentioned, the Far Cry games when the FPS boost came out, right?
Yes.
Because when you turned the FPS boost on the Far Cry games, because of the way the engine was or whatever, it would put it in like a last gen mode or something, so you wouldn't get the you would get the lower resolution. So it was like 1080p or maybe even lower at times.
720.
But you were getting to play at 60. And I started playing Far Cry 4 with the FPS boost on, and it was blurry. You know, it did not look anywhere near as good fidelity wise as it did out of FPS boost mode. But man, it was such a more fun experience for me playing with the FPS boost on. It actually made me finally complete Far Cry 4 because I was having so much more fun with it, you know. Then now Ubisoft when they updated Far Cry 5 to give it all the bells and whistles, you know. So I love when the developers do that kind of shit, but you know.
So do I. And hopefully more and more will keep doing it.
Yeah.
Again, as we go forward, and like I said, that's why I want the enthusiast for next. I think it just makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because too many people are getting used to it now.
It'd be nice if in the new consoles coming up, whatever they do, there's like a hardware solution for even new games for that. You know, like
as AI becomes more prominent, it might possibly it'll do that on the fly for you. It'll get better and better at it, and it'll just start being able to adjust, and you won't be able to tell because it'll do frame generation, it'll do upscaling, it'll do it all on the fly through AI, right? And it'll just be like whatever your game needs, you'll set the frames and then it'll just adjust on the fly to you, and it'll be so good at what it does, you won't be able to tell the difference eventually. I think that's where we're headed, especially with all these custom ones that these companies are coming up with now. So it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be so I don't know, Mav. Anything else you want to talk about? We had
there's only one other thing I wanted.
Go shoot. What do you want to talk about?
What was ACG talking about?
Yeah, I was you and I are mind
That's some
again.
Fun speculation there, right?
Oh, bro, this is a good question. Everybody, if you don't know who ACG is, he's a fantastic dude. Again, never met him personally, but just the energy he gives off is just awesome. His podcasts are freaking fun as hell. He's a great reviewer. He's one of the few reviewers that if I want to listen to a review, I will go to 100% of the time. Dude is just amazing. ACG is awesome. He put out a tweet, Jeremy Penter, for everybody who knows his real name. ACG, he put out a post this week on yesterday, and he doesn't leak stuff. He doesn't do shit. He doesn't really get into that. He'll tease every once in a while on his podcast. Sometimes he'll drop some information if he's heard behind the scenes. He's got some connections in the industry. But he does get to see things beforehand. A lot of people present him games beforehand because he's such a big reviewer and he's well known. He put out a post that said, "This year is going to be incredible for games. Damn. Okay, more so than originally planned. Hot damn." This is the type of post where Mav and I, the Fun Spec fan, we all start rubbing our hands together because this was made on April 3rd. We already know the start to this year and how that's been going, which is freaking top 3 all time already as far as the start to a year, maybe the best ever start to the year in video games, depending on your perspective. But then we also know a lot of games coming out this year. We know a lot of the big hitters, right? We got Indie, we got Avowed, we got Hellblade 2,
we only know what we know.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
We got we got Black Myth Wukong. We got all these games coming for the rest of the year, for the next 8 months. And we've already been talking about what a freaking amazing year this year is because of the start. And we weren't even expecting this kind of start. But we were already looking at the other games too, going, 2024. Mav and I talked about this at the end of last year. 2024 might compete, might beat 2023. So to have a dude like ACG, who is tapped in to the industry, who reviews games for a living, right? And this is his job, and he kind of knows the upcoming lineup. For him, Mav, to say this year is going to be incredible for games, damn. All capital letters, damn. All capital letters, incredible. And then to say, okay, more so than originally planned. Hot damn.
Yeah, that's
ACG was already excited for this year.
If it was just the first line, it wouldn't mean anything. Right. And maybe it doesn't mean anything anyway. But the second line adds level context of more than originally planned. That means maybe there's something that he knows about that was
there's
not
at least one
planned,
big surprise.
Or that we don't know about yet. Yeah.
Yes. There's something that he was even unaware of, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
That he was even unaware of, that dropped in his lap. Somebody gave him something, heads up. That's something that nobody was expecting this year is dropping this year. Right? That's what it sounds like to me.
So if that's the case, and again, this is just speculation because it's basing on a random tweet from somebody, in the community. Maybe he didn't mean this at all, right? But I think so. I think you think so, Pong, as well. So if that is the case, what is it? Because it'd have to be something exciting, right?
Yeah.
Not just some random new IP or something, or that we never heard of, because he wouldn't even know to be excited for it if that's the case, I've been racking my brain trying to think of what it could be. One thing was the potential that the Splinter Cell remake is actually this year.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right? That it's maybe actually coming out this year, because that would be a big deal, right? Maybe somebody like him too, because he's kind of from our generation, you know what I mean? Would probably love Splinter Cell. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Could be I don't think it's anything. Well, it could be a PlayStation thing that we don't know about. If they do a PS5 Pro show, this summer, and they say something's coming this holiday, it could be a surprise there. I don't know. Could be a surprise from Xbox. He's pretty neutral, ACG, I think, about platforms and stuff,
He is. He plays on PC for the most part.
Yeah.
Yes. He reviews all PC.
And I just don't fucking know what it could be. Like, there's so many awesome games scheduled to come out this year. The Elden Ring DLC, that's this year, I think, right? As well, I'm not sure. We have the Shattered Space thing from Starfield supposed to be this year. So I think it has to be something that's unannounced. Does Xbox have another game in their bag? Is that possible?
No, I don't. Well,
I'm trying to think of the platform holders first party. I think out of all of them, the one that would it wouldn't be their style, but company that would have a potential game in their bag for this year, it would be more likely to be PlayStation, just because we already know a lot of the stuff coming for Xbox, and PlayStation has nothing, but it's not their style to do that. Nintendo, no, because the Switch 2 is like next year, supposedly, right? I don't fucking have any clue what this could be.
I'm going back through his tweets trying to see if there was any. He did like Splinter Cell, by the way. He's been excited. He has a tweet from 2019 saying new Splinter Cell. Come on.
Yeah.
So he definitely was on the Splinter Cell train. He's talked about Oblivion a lot. The remake, obviously, we've heard smoke about, but it's not been ever confirmed that the Oblivion remake was coming.
If they go all out on that, dude.
They go all out on that.
Fuck.
That could be something. Trying to think what else could be. I don't know what some of his favorite games are. I know he loves Gears, but I announcement. Yes.
You keep cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no
probably because I'm turning away.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's a Gears Tactics fan.
Yeah.
So I was saying that he's talked a lot about Gears Tactics too, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't know, man.
Final Fantasy Tactics?
Could that rumor be true that we're getting it by the end of the year? And that's going to be on everything? I mean, if that was the case,
I'm guessing if he likes Gears Tactics, maybe he's a tactics game lover.
He's a tactics game lover. I know that.
If he's a tactics games lover, then maybe he has a special place in his heart for Final Fantasy Tactics, like many tactics games lovers do. Because that's what got me into tactics games to begin with.
He's never made a post about it.
Okay.
According to my search.
The Gears collection, the chat's saying, could be. I don't know.
Yeah, the Gears. I mean, I guess it could be Gears. But God, that's been such a rumor for so long.
The chat says Scalebound.
Somebody put sure meme underneath his post, and he said, "Yeah, it's great, super exciting." So,
okay. So there's something.
Let's see. Somebody else said, "Looking forward to the eventual." Remember when I tweeted this? Yeah, that's what I was talking about right now. Not for me catching up on the backlog. And he said, "No hint in this one. Others track those perfectly so far and note them." So he's not denying that he did know.
Yeah.
He's heard something. He's just not into all that shit anyways. Yeah. It's personal for him. So those were a couple of the responses that he made. So I don't know, man, but I know it's got to be something for that type of language. It's got to be something big. Either it is a personal favorite. And again, ACG does like some smaller stuff. He does like some very niche stuff as well. And he is a PC guy, right? So he has a lot of PC love. So it could be something that console players go, "What the hell are you talking about?" But for him, it's big and exciting. But I gotta imagine, Mav, it's got to be something that's kind of out of this, like that. That's something that's unexpected, obviously, that nobody had a clue would be dropping this year. Because obviously the easy one would be GTA 6 is launching this year.
Yeah,
that's not. So it's got to be something, I would assume for him to make that type of post. It's got to be something that out of this
That
world. But
maybe
I was
that
racking
new
my brain.
there's a new Far Cry game that's supposed to be coming, but I
No
don't.
way, because there's supposedly Assassin's Creed Red might be by the
Yeah,
end of the year, right? They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that in the same year. I don't know,
Game
man.
Shark with the $5 super chat says, "Can you
Yeah,
do me a favor, Matt? Can you look up the game Deep Down for the PS4? I mention this game whenever anyone says Scalebound.
deep down.
Deep
PS,
Down for the
I don't remember.
PS4. Um,
It looks like Souls. Holy shit!
Deep Down.
Action role playing game published, developed and published by Capcom. Went into development hell. Oh man, this could have been like almost could have been like an early Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
Probably why they didn't put it or
Yeah.
after Dragon's Dogma. Like, oh,
I
think
remember
do
this
remember
game. They had the
Yeah.
guy on the trailer that
Yeah.
had like the really high fidelity like facial animations and stuff when they showed it off, I think. Yeah, I don't remember what happened in this game. Published by
Interesting. Yeah.
Capcom.
Holy shit, this was far along in development too. Damn. This is one. Yeah, although not officially
Yeah.
canceled.
I
Science
think
fantasy.
ultimately people just didn't care as much because there was so much other great stuff releasing for PlayStation at the time. You know what I mean?
And Capcom. That was when Capcom
Yeah.
was in the down. So
Mhm.
that would make sense why they canceled, because they weren't going to spend money on it. Interesting.
Yeah. I appreciate the one gifted Fun Speculation membership as well, Game Shark. Choo choo, motherfucker, man. You're awesome.
Choo, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, right. Pong just run out of gas. This is too quiet at the end of the show. I don't know. It's
I don't know.
it could be anything, but just the fact that he's excited about it, whatever it is,
Yeah.
has me thinking and kind of
Intrigued.
excited and
It has me
intrigued about
super
it. Yeah.
intrigued. And I wonder if it's something for the Xbox showcase, since it's right around the corner, right? And it could be getting prepped for that. He could have heard about that.
Yeah.
I know he's got certain people that do talk to him about stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe hear
Psycho in the
something.
chat was saying earlier that there should
Yeah.
be 2 unannounced Xbox games for this year. Maybe
Yeah,
is that
it could be-
based on when they said there's 10 things releasing this year, like the math or whatever? There's Flight Sim supposed to be this year. There's Towerborn. There's Aura. There's Indiana Jones. There's Hellblade 2. Avowed. Shattered Space for Starfield.
Age of Mythology.
Age of Mythology. They had announced another Elder Scrolls expansion. Do they count that? Maybe that's 9 if we count that.
It's Call of Duty 10.
In Call of Duty. Yeah,
10.
that's 10.
Yep.
10 big releases, you know, because they consider those Elder Scrolls things big, you know, and I don't know.
I don't know, man.
If they're talking about 10 games, then yeah, we're short on that.
Yeah,
you know.
they're not counting. You got Diablo in there too.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Speaking of canceled games, though, the Project Apollo that got shown off today. For anybody who doesn't know, there's a
Batman.
Yeah, there's a account called Spidey Ranger. He goes by the Geeky Dude at the Geeky Dude. He published a bunch of stuff on X today from Project Apollo, which was the game that oh god, why did I just lose the dev? Give it to me. Mav.
It's from Monolith.
Monolith, thank you. God damn, I just lost it. That Monolith was originally going to launch, and it was a Batman game, and there's video, there's gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, this game was far into development. This actually was going to be the first game that Monolith introduced the Nemesis mechanic on, the Nemesis system mechanic.
In a Batman game.
That would have been absolutely freaking amazing. This, again, for a non-superhero dude looking at this Batman game, looks awesome. It was open world. But WB didn't want didn't think having two Batman gaming franchises was a great idea, so the Batman game was retooled to a Lord of the Rings project, and that's how we got Shadow of Mordor. But if you guys are interested in this, here I'll post the start of the thread link in our chat. If you guys are interested in looking at what this Batman game looked like, it looked pretty damn cool. I ain't gonna lie, man. Does it have a lot of similarities to the other Batman games? Sure, but it looks pretty damn cool.
I think it would have been like weird, a little weird at the same time to have the Arkham series and then that at the like releasing, because they're both kind of, it looks open world, right?
Yes, it is. It is open world.
Yeah, so like two open world Batman franchises from the same publisher, like I would have fucking been down for it. But I do understand in that situation why they made a choice like that. Like,
but they had stealth in it, man.
Yeah.
They had the detective stuff in it, right? They had his grapple hook. They said it was gliding, grapple hook, or the Batmobile was going to be in it as well. And again, with the Nemesis system, bro, that would have been
sick.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I said, that's why I can't wait to see more of Wonder Woman, because I'm assuming that they're going to use it in Wonder Woman.
Maybe after Wonder Woman, they can do Batman if Rocksteady doesn't do it now, you know?
If they don't disband Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, pretty crazy. But if you guys want to go see again, there's actual video of the gameplay. So it's like, this is a whole big dump of info on this game. So pretty interesting stuff. Relic, Mav, one of our favorite studios, they just went indie. Company Heroes 3, obviously RTS studio. They went independent, bought themselves out from underneath Sega. They just lost another 41 employees. They had to lay off another 41 employees.
Probably part of the whole process of what they were doing. So
yeah, hopefully a place like World's Edge is picking them up. Supposedly they just greenlit a new game, according to Jez from Xbox 2 last week. Mav. So World's Edge is working on another game. Jez said it was too early to talk about the project. Is it already Age of Empires 5, or could it be StarCraft? Halo Wars 3? Could it be? Bro, give me any of them. But if they're working on a new project, go pick up some of these Relic people, please.
Yeah.
They worked with you guys. They've had their hands in a lot of RTSs. Relic is freaking awesome. So sad to see 41 more people go, but hopefully with RTSs being kind of all the rage now and coming back again, not just on PC, but also on console, hopefully there's some spots for those devs to find work. And obviously they probably can do more than just RTSs, but that's obviously something they've been working on. So that was sad news today. Anything else? I think that's about it, man. Anything else?
Just hope it's Halo Wars 3. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, bro, if it's Halo Wars, so if it's Star Wars, so
or what my dream game is before that I said Xbox needs to make is the Xbox franchise RTS. Now that they have so many different things, you could have like base it on Halo Wars, but then you have a fucking a gear, like a COG faction from Gears. You could have a Locust faction from Gears. You obviously have the Covenant. You can from Halo, you have the Banished from Halo. You can have the fucking Flood from Halo, but then you also can do like Skyrim shit or something like that in there. You could do Sea of Thieves like for the ships and stuff for the sea. There's so much fucking potential you could have for a like Xbox IP based faction based RTS game. Like, I don't know what you call it. Or how it would work. Like, it would be fucking amazing. I love
Realm Wars or something.
Yeah, like Xbox Realm Wars or something.
Yeah, it would be freaking dope, bro. It would
God,
be so
it'd be amazing. That's like a dream game for me, man.
It'd be like Time Bandits, the RTS, where you just bring in everybody from every age, and you got all these different.
Just think about all the different. You could have the heroes be characters from the different franchises. Like you could have like Joanna Dark be like the Tanya from Command and Conquer. Like you put her out there, you go sneak around and plant bombs at bases and shit. Like, fuck.
I'm telling you, we got $1 million ideas all the time, bro.
Let's go, man. I don't know what the logistics are making that happen, but like make use of all these IPs. Could you imagine like having like Banjo-Kazooie as like a hero?
Oh my God, no! Please, God, no! Please, no!
Oh,
no. Oh God, no. Along with Conquer out there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God, Conquer would be
Oh,
the ultimate winner. He used to be fucking shit up,
they
man.
got enough. They could do the whole kitty, like the kitty club. Like they could do the whole cartoony faction out there and just throw in all the kitty
Yeah,
game
there you
shit that they've
go.
got now
Yeah,
too.
they're like,
Crash. They got Crash out there. They got freaking all of them.
yeah,
Oh, bro.
they call it the E for everyone faction.
Nope, nobody would fucking use it. But anyways,
Oh, that would be, it'd be maybe the most used
there would
one.
be people that probably troll the hell out of it, bro. Oh, but yes, no, we've talked about that for a long time. That type of RTS would be freaking amazing, man. It'd be so dope.
Yeah.
Oh my. You guys should go check out Eternal Strands from Yellow Brick. By the way, they just had their first trailer this week as well. I'll throw their link in there as well. Eternal Strands is from Yellow Brick Games. You guys who don't know who Yellow Brick is, this is a studio that was started up by former BioWare and Ubisoft people, Assassin's Creed people. This game looks freaking awesome. It's like shout out to Haz who posted it. But third-person action adventure game draws inspiration from the likes of Shadow of the Colossus and Monster Hunter. You're doing battle with massive creatures hell-bent on destroying you. Cool looking game, man. Cool looking game. This is one I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. But Yellow Brick Games is again, a lot of good devs went over there.
Yep.
So I'll throw that link in there for you guys too. Go check that one out. And then the last small one I'll mention too. Second. Let's see. That link. Go check out that YouTube link there for that trailer. The last one I did want to mention too. This caught my eye because a lot of people were posting about it. Some people got to play this week too, Mav. This is a jump ship co-op PvE Starfield like meets what's the other game that I'm trying to think of here?
They said FTL is one that I heard a lot of people say.
FTL was another one. You guys got to check this out though. A lot of people excited. Some people got to check this out. I wonder if it was at GDC or PAX East or whatever the case may be. It's from Keepsake Games. But so basically you and up to three of your friends, right, get to pilot a ship. You do have to do maintenance on the ship. You have to, you got weapon systems. So like one person pilots, one person controls the weapon system, one person's a mechanic, etc. But then you also, so you have space battles, right? But you can also get outside of your ship and it turns into a first person shooter. You can also do repairs on the outside of your ship. You can go to space stations. They have missions. They have an entire mission board where you can go across the galaxy. You can actually fly. You can do missions on planets. You can actually fly and land completely seamlessly from space to land on the planet. You all get out. It turns into a first person shooter and you're doing missions and you're fighting enemies on the planets as well. Alienoids, all sorts of different creatures, that kind of stuff too. This is like an all-in-one game. Again, it's called Jump Ship. Go check out this dev. Kaplan, he goes by Capiche, Kappische on X. He's like one of the mains over at Keepsake Games. And it's going to be on Steam right now. But I think there is potential that it is coming to console as well. But again, it's called Jump Space. I'll put the website in there so you guys can check it out. This game looks cool as hell. This is definitely a game that would be a blast to get the fam together and do some runs.
Absolutely,
I think it looks awesome. Graphic. All right. That's all I got, Mav. You got anything else?
A Doom faction? They could put a Doom faction in.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. You could do Doom, of course. Bro, you could do so much, man. Again, there would be the possibility, again, would be so damn cool. And if they did it right, they've got the teams to do it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
If they did it right, it could be huge on PC and on and
it could promote all the Xbox like franchises.
But that's just why we need another Halo.
Yeah.
Again, Halo Wars had, even for the non-RTS players, people still go watch the cinematics because the story was some of the best.
Yeah.
Right?
It's amazing.
Period.
Yeah.
It is amazing. All right. We get everybody out of here.
Let's go. Yep.
Everybody, fantastic episode of PM and the PM, just over 3 hours. Thank you all for joining us. Lots of good talk today. Good conversations. Again, we had some fun stuff pop up this week. Some really, really interesting things. Again, we're coming into showcase season. Going to be lots of stuff going on. No E3, so it's probably going to be spread out. There's probably going to be showcases dropping randomly on dates. Like, I hate that. I want 1 week of just showcases, but that's not the world we're living in now. So get ready. It's going to be tons to talk about as we lead up. Obviously, smoke will start happening. For those of you that don't like rumors and leaks, well, guess what? It's that time of the season, everybody. We'll probably be hearing more about that. You know, you're going to be getting the speculation here about what we want to see. It should be exciting. A lot of people are already talking about the Xbox showcase in particular. We've got obviously word that PlayStation is going to have some type of showcase or state of play in May. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But obviously, when it comes to Xbox, a lot of people are already talking about this show. That pretty much now where Xbox is at, like, there's a lot of questions surrounding Xbox and what the future looks like and what they're doing. And a lot of people are having a hard time seeing what Xbox is doing. But the one thing that we know about, and Grub mentioned this on XCast today too, is that they're making a ton of freaking games.
Yep.
And they've got a lot more to show. Like, they're not done. Like, Grub thinks we're coming to the end of kind of like the backlog from the pandemic for most companies. Like, we're starting to, like, that's why 2023 and now 2024 are so jam-packed. I still think 2025 is going to be really packed too. But he's kind of saying we're kind of coming to the end of it for most companies. But he's like, Xbox, they've got so much in the pipeline, like, yet to even reveal.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to start doing that. And they're kind of in this spot now where they kind of can do whatever at their showcase. We're not quite sure what they're going to do. If they're going to just do, current stuff that's coming out shortly, or if they're going to go, obviously further out, if we're going to start getting teases about what potentially next gen, if they're thinking 2026 about their handheld. Like, there's so much they could do with the showcase. So coming up to this one in June, it's going to be a lot to talk about, I think, and we're going to have a lot of fun, man.
So happy the conversations are going to be shifting,
Oh, yeah. Again, doom and gloomers are out here to stay. Fortunately, the Xbox community, at least from what we know of the Xbox community here on X, is fractured. It's not coming back together anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's probably going to continue because Xbox isn't changing direction. They're not going to change course. They're going to do whatever they're doing. There's going to be a whole lot of questions that probably will remain unanswered for a long time. So there's going to be a lot of people out there that just want to say, oh, shit's over with. It's, Xbox is dead again, like whatever, or everything that they do is going to be, oh, why are we doing this? This sucks. This is not Xbox. So just get used to that, but you can come places here, like here. We'll talk about the high level stuff. We'll have those good conversations. We'll kind of speculate on what we think Xbox is doing. We'll obviously be critical when necessary, but you're going to get a lot of game talk. You can get a lot of fun speculation about the future, because if there's one thing you need to know about me, Mav, and the rest of the family that you get here, that you get on Living Split Screen, the Shop podcast, is that we're all excited for the future of gaming, and that we all believe this is the best time ever to be a gamer. And it doesn't matter what system or where we're talking about, there's some cool shit coming down the pipeline, a lot of it. And we're all going to be excited to talk about each and every single one of those. So you can join us here and get a lot of that good positivity back. Don't worry about it. We'll be here for you guys, because that's what we do.
Just remember, guys, everybody listening, come this summer and holiday season and next year, remember who wasn't dooming and glooming. Okay?
Please.
Remember who tried to bring some reason to the conversation. That's all I got to say.
I agree. Again, we've been critical. We've been accused of dooming and glooming when we've been critical, but it's never been about that. If you guys have been around for a long time and listen to us, you know what it's all about. So we can certainly be critical, but we've never once said that Xbox was dead. We've never once said that PlayStation is dead. We never once said that gaming is over with. We never once said that it's the collapse of the industry. Never once out of any of our mouths whatsoever. So we don't believe in any of that shit. So we will be here preaching. So love you all. Thank you for joining us tonight. But My co-host with the most, the man who is the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network. Another great show, brother. Thank you for sitting down and having this conversation. Part of my weekly therapy sessions, escaping from some of the real life stuff to be here with you, brother, and this chat, this amazing community that we have been building over here. Love you, brother. So what do you got coming up, man? And what are you going to be doing?
I'm gonna be going to buy an extra pair of sunglasses. I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
We'll do that.
Yeah, I gotta stay safe. You
better stay. One for the
Um,
car, after one for the house. You'll never be without one.
Absolutely. And besides that, yeah, I'll be playing some games and hanging out, and looking forward to tomorrow night for Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we're back Monday for FSP at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and then every Thursday here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to try and do more solo streams, pop them up every once in a while, even if there's nothing crazy exciting to talk about. So keep a lookout for those as well. But what about you, Pong?
Yes, sir. You guys know the drill by now. First of all, sun's up, shades on. Just remember that. Sun's up, shades on, everybody. That is the mantra for 2024 and beyond. If you are driving and the sun is out, get your sunglasses on. Just be safe, man. It helps everybody else on the road. Anyways, great show. Love you all. You know how to find me. Pong Soul on the X, formerly known as Twitter. Pong Soul on the Xbox. Pong Soul on Steam. I will be playing, again, living my best single-player life, Dragon's Dogma 2, for the foreseeable future here. I do want to get back into some Helldivers 2 as well, man. They keep updating that game. Talk about a company who knows how to do games as a service. Holy shit, man. They're just knocking it out of the park. But I will be in Dragon's Dogma 2. But you guys can follow me. I'll follow you back tomorrow night. I will join the rest of the family over on Xbox Ultimate, where we laugh a lot, but we talk a lot of gaming too, right here, back on the Fun Speculation Network, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. And then you already know the drill for Saturday. You got to set your alarms now so you don't forget, because you got to wake up. Just get your coffee. But even if you don't have your coffee, even if you're still laying in bed half asleep, Steel Rain, my brother from another, and I go live on Living Split Screen Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. We will give you the energy you need to get up and get your day started. And if you so happen to be around the other side of the world and it's already afternoon, we're going to keep you going. No need for a second cup of coffee or no need for another Red Bull that day. Living Split Screen's got you covered. So again, 4+ hours every Saturday. Buckle up, get ready. Live, raw, and uncut. Again, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Living Split Screen. Split Screen is all one word. Join us for some great conversations with my brother. And we get the chat involved too. It's a great time. Be there Saturday morning. And then Saturday night, the best way to end your weekend, or I should say your Saturday, whatever, Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel, Fuzzy Belvedere, myself, and we usually have a couple of guests swing on through the Shop Podcast every Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Have us on in the background while you're gaming. I know Saturday nights are made for gaming, but man, we got a chill show. It's easy to listen to while you're playing games, so be there for the Shop. And then, of course, next week it starts all over again. Tuesdays, Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. Boomstick is the man. All good things green every Tuesday. Xbox Factor Podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. So be there for the Xbox Factor Podcast, and then, God willing, start my podcasting week right here with my brother again on PM in the PM, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. It's the golden age of gaming, people. It really, really, really is. Can't stress this enough. Get out there and enjoy the hundreds, thousands of games available to you right now. Play what you love. Love what you play. Sun's up, shades on, everybody. Have a good rest of your evening. I'll talk to you all real soon. Matt, get us out of here, brother.
Peace.
Oh.